Tomorrow I will rule the world!
You think he's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Well, I must have not been paying attention when you
Actually, you need to ask that question off the air, bud.
Total.
I was going to answer, but I'm trying to stay quiet.
All right, I gotta share this out.
Total.
That's the end of the show. That's the end of the show, folks. Good night. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
I can't win. No matter what I do, I can't win.
Welcome in, everyone. Please like. share.
No, go away. We don't want you here today.
We have a special guest today.
I want her all to myself.
I bet we have a bunch of people already watching.
Really?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know what? We should do that as a strategy. Always go like 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
So people are like just waiting for us to start.
They might just be coming on to see your cup.
Yeah, my invisible cup.
Your invisible cup.
We might as well start with Dana right on, right? Let's put her in here.
I guess. Oh my God. I can't even. You're going to have to ask the questions because I'm just going to sit here and look at her.
I
What
can't
questions?
Right now. There's questions? You didn't tell me there were questions. What?
She has to do the papa box.
We'll just do cooking tips.
There you go.
I'm a good cook.
What's your best dish?
My best dish, well, it depends who you're asking, right?
You.
My
We're asking
best-
you.
I would just say sauce.
Okay.
It's plain. It's not a hard thing, but
She's a great guy.
Right here. You ready?
I did not hear it.
to the microphone. I can do a lot of things singing. Not one of them.
I threw Manny off the show for not doing Baba Paz, but it's the sexiest woman alive. What am I supposed
She
to do?
did it.
I did the ba ba ba.
I didn't hear her.
Because I didn't let sound come out. I did the
Oh,
most
so you
She
didn't
knows.
really.
Yeah.
Only Jana can get away with that. My computer's crashing. I don't know what's
I don't
going
want
on
to
here.
scare your viewers away if
Oh
they.
my
You've
God.
heard
The show's
me do
already a
karaoke.
disaster. We haven't even started.
You've heard me do karaoke.
Listen, when I'm king of the world, karaoke will be punishable by death.
Luckily, you'll never be king of the world.
When I'm king of the world, karaoke. I just actually said that to somebody in TMF last night. A bunch of kids got up and started doing karaoke, and they thought they were having fun, and they were enjoying themselves. And I was sitting there cringing the entire time, going, "Punishable by death when I'm king of the world. Punishable by
I
death."
love karaoke. I was doing
love
karaoke today on the radio.
Do you remember when we went with Neil Perry to Haverhill? And we,
Oh my
and-
God, that
and
Chinese food place.
Chinese food place.
He had a good voice.
He had a great voice.
Yeah, I bet people didn't know that about him. And he sang the saddest song that I'd ever heard in my whole life.
What is it called?
I wasn't going to go there.
Hotel California.
It's not sad. That's
It
like
is.
creepy. It's creepy.
Talks about hell, right?
It's creepy.
Well, Hotel California is actually about the Satanic Church. It's about the birth of the Satanic Church.
Why do you have to
Really?
ruin
Yeah,
it
it's
for
actually
me?
what it
I
is.
thought it was about arriving to hell.
No, it's about the birth of the Satanic Church.
Okay, I
So
just...
they basically said that anyone with a Mercedes, like Satan.
Really?
Yeah, the
Why?
song
Because
says
of like
that.
the
I don't
symbol?
know. I don't know.
I thought Hotel California was
I
kind of like
don't
The
know.
Shining.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing, right?
Everyone has a different thought, I guess.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Hi, how you guys doing? My name's Tom Duggan here with the Paying Attention Podcast, high atop the Golden Seal Apothecary, right across the street from the plush and luxurious offices of the Valley Patriot. And we have a pretty good show for you today. I wanted to just touch on a couple of things before we get going. It's amazing. Peace has broken
to
out.
protect you.
Peace is broken out in the Middle East. Yeah, I'm not going to be Methuen Farm and ask you like, can you solve world peace? You have 1 minute. Tell me about gun rights. Can you tell me about gun rights? You have 1 minute.
Assault weapons.
I'm just going to do this
Assault
for fun.
weapons.
I'm going to play on my own while he's doing that.
Hello, John Savastano.
What a
we have
liberal
Bill
question.
Scofield, Carla Doobie.
I couldn't believe they asked that question. I'm like, guns, really?
Well, technically, it wasn't their question. Someone had written in.
Right.
To ask the
It was somebody
question.
who was looking to identify who the conservatives were, so that
For-
they could vote for the Democrats.
For a
That's
nonpartisan
for a nonpartisan
election.
race. But that's a Sharon Pollard move. So I guarantee you,
Oh, let's
whoever did that was someone who like has that political leaning. Anyways.
Hi, Marie Thibodeau. How are you? Sandra Jean. Welcome in. Welcome in. Please share, guys. Like. Go ahead.
Welcome to the Intern Girl Show.
We love her. Carr. She's my new favorite.
Oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
I get so much shit. Why do you call her intern girl? It's so demeaning. What candidate for school committee? It's so demeaning. I'm like, well, she likes it. Well, you should tell her not to like it. Like,
Oh,
I
God.
don't get it.
I'm voting for you, Jane.
You have thick skin.
so we have
I
to
have
call
thick
boys.
skin.
So we have to call boys her and she because that's what they want to be called. But when intern girl wants to be called intern girl, we should tell her she shouldn't want that.
You know, remember when I asked him how the show was going to go?
I'm trying to protect you and get you out of the
we're
image.
like a minute in.
I'm not going to get a word in edgewise. That's why I've got to get all this out at the beginning of the show because otherwise you two are taking over.
Let's say thank you to our sponsors, please.
I'm trying to get there, but I can't get there. All right, let's take our sponsors. Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, the Zanni Pesce, Pescerino. Wait, she's here. How do you say it?
So I say pesce. The correct Italian pronunciation is pesce. It means fish.
Pesce.
Pesce. It means fish. You see it on.
I hate all of those answers.
Every Italian menu now.
Can we just say pesce? It's just easier to
Listen,
say.
I had a judge, and I showed up in court one day, and I said, Your Honor, JANA ZANNI PESCE for the defendant. And he says, Counsel, pesce? I said, yes, sir. Right? He says, it's pesce. Do not come into my courtroom without saying pesce. I'm like, okay, Your Honor, no problem.
We're going to get that judge on the show. Okay. Thanks for coming, kids. Good night. Marston & Son Construction, EIS, Investigation and Gun Training. Speaking of EIS, Howie Carr has a column today. And, you know, here's the thing with Howie Carr. And I've always liked the guy. We've always gotten along. I shouldn't say always, but we've gotten along in the last 10, 20 years. The problem with Howie is somebody feeds him a narrative. Like Mike Samad picks up the phone and calls him and says, this is the story. And then he runs with it without doing any fact-checking because it just sounds like a sexy story. Like, what's a more sexy story? Police chief makes $350,000 a year because he's crooked, or police chief makes $350,000 a year because he sued the city for wrongful termination and won a lawsuit, and the city couldn't pay him all up front, so they put payments into his paycheck every week. So it looks like when you look at his paycheck, he made $350,000 a year, but that's not what he was making a year. A lot of that money is from which one?
The second one was just too long.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So in the media, there's what we call the simplicity principle. The simplest story always wins. So if the story is Tom Duggan raped 15 women versus Tom Duggan showed up late, it was 20 minutes after the rapes happened, but he saw them and he tried to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation on a woman that was passed out, and then they showed up and they accused him. Well, by the time I get to my second sentence, people stopped listening, right? Tom Duggan raped 15 women is a much better story. It sells more, it's more sexy, people pay more attention.
And that's in the media, like in the news?
Yeah,
or
the news
written,
media.
Or
In the news media, the simplest story always wins. So if you're a candidate for office, if you're an elected official, you have to remember, whenever a scandal breaks, if you're explaining, you're losing.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right? So you've
Wendy
got
Luzon.
Your answer
that's
has
true
to be
in
as simple as
everything, though,
possible.
now.
So Howie Carr ran with a story today in the Herald about the Big Don, like he's a big mafia Don. Big Don, Joe Solomon. Big Don, $350,000 a year. Oh, that's a sexy story. $350,000. Yeah, right. But at least like $100,000 of that is from a freaking lawsuit. Right? But he's not going to tell you that because that takes away from the story. It makes the story less sexy. It makes it more complicated. You have to start explaining why the $100,000 extra in the paycheck. And by the time you're done explaining, people don't think it's a scandal anymore, and they stop reading. They stop listening to your radio show. So shame on Howie. I know he did this to Diana DiZoglio when that fake scandal happened to Diana. I knew Howie very well at the time. I called him when the scandal happened to Diana, and I said to him, what you're reporting is just factually incorrect. And I'm just telling you as a friend, it's factually incorrect. None of that happened. She walked into the wheel well of the house during an after-hours party in the Speaker's office at the State House. A state representative said, you're not going to believe, and behind the Speaker's office is a secret door that goes out into the well of the house, and showed her. When they opened the door, there was a security guard on the other side. They said, what are you doing in here? All right. The story Howie was reporting was she was caught having lurid sex with two state representatives. Like, it was crazy. Front page of the Globe, front page of the... Well, now she's getting even.
But what do you expect from a guy named after a Backstreet Boy?
Oh, I love that.
So listen, a lot of the times Howie is on the side of good. He's trying to root out corruption. But the problem is that when someone sells him a story and it sounds good, and then he learns later, even while the story is still fresh, that some elements of the story aren't true, he will never correct it.
Nobody does that, though.
Well, I
They
do.
accuse-
100% I do. On every show I come on and I
would
say.
I would agree with that, but you're one of the few because it's so easy to put something out there, drag some. Look at my dad.
Right.
Drag a name through the mud, and then once they're absolved or cleared or whatever, nobody rehabilitates that name, right?
All right. Tomo and Shaken Seafood, they don't have any scandals to talk about, so we'll just keep going.
Good
Clear
food.
Path for
They're
Veterans.
awesome.
Good food.
Clear Path for Veterans, New England. I actually met somebody yesterday that I'm going to pair up with Jason. She does dog stuff, and Jason at Clear Path does service dogs for homeless veterans. And when they get in like apartments and stuff, so we're going to AFC Urgent Care Total Mortgage. I want to make sure I get it right because she's
By Marie
such
Thibodeau.
a nice person. I know where
Senior
her name
loan
is. But,
officer.
where are we? Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors. Did you ever sign on Dave Inconsoli's lawn yet?
He doesn't do my lawn. He's helped me with some other stuff.
No, but do you ever sign on his lawn?
Yes.
Okay, then that's all that matters. He's back in our good graces.
He is?
He
Is he
is.
coming back?
I
Is
hope
he
so.
back on Facebook?
He is, yes.
I love David.
Well, I don't know. Does his
He's-
wife
he's
let
a
him back
great
on
guy.
Facebook? It kind of goes by. His wife and his mom kind of control
Is she a
that.
redhead?
They're awesome. They're actually both awesome.
just
His
giving him
wife
a hard
and his
time.
mother are incredible.
That's it. I'm going to get a phone call after the show. He's going to be yelling at me.
I didn't know you guys weren't talking, though. That's news to me.
No, we are.
Oh,
no,
okay.
No,
okay.
we
What do
are.
you mean back in his graces then?
No, him back in our good graces.
Oh, him. Oh,
I know
Yeah,
that.
because he missed the
I know
bash,
that.
remember?
He did.
missed
He
the
missed him
bash.
at the bash.
Man, that's
right.
all it takes.
We're only a third of the way through the responses. Welcome to the 4-hour edition of the Valley Patriot Paying Attention
Who's your
podcast.
next sponsor?
Prime Insurance, the Doug
Keep 'em on
Mercurio Law Office. Nope, not him anymore. Not them anymore. W3ON, 4-star lighting. A free shout out to my buddy Joe and Kirsten at 4-star lighting. They have consistently been advertising with us. I think they're in their 6th year now.
Nice.
They're on the front page. They're the only full advertisement on the front page because they locked in like a 5-year contract when they first came in.
Nice.
And so we appreciate their loyalty
Are
and their
those
support.
is that like who Debo reached out to for you to stop
He's one
working
of
with
them, yeah.
Okay.
He's one of them, yeah.
Nice.
Debo went through my entire list of advertisers and tried to get them,
To
which is
stop.
actionable, but we'll talk about that on another show. Free show to Stadium Chiropractic, Paul Lambert of Lambert and Randone. Where are my candidates list? Because we have brand new candidates that are sponsoring the show.
They're on
Okay.
the bottom of the screen, though.
We have John Drew,
I don't know why this isn't
Luis
here.
Robles.
Luis,
Wanda.
say it again. That's so
I think
sexy.
I saw Ryan's.
Luis Robles?
Yeah. Luis Robles running for school committee in Lawrence.
I like the
Oh,
way
Ryan
you say that.
DeZoglio for at large. Wanda Santos at large. John Drew at
Methuen.
large in Methuen.
They all want to work with me.
Frank
I
Cirillo
can't-
at large.
I'm just saying.
Jana Zanni Pesce at large. The Laborers Union Local 175. And say it again. School committee in
Luis Robles.
Luis Robles.
Lawrence School Committee.
You got to throw that kid a vote. He's a really smart kid. He's
He
a good
is
kid.
smart.
He is.
Smart. And he's a conservative.
And I want to
appreciate
say
that.
welcome to, as well, Quinn Gunnell, who I just kind of met online the other night. He bought an ad in this edition of the Valley Patriot, which is out on the street. So you need to pick up the Valley Patriot. This is our election edition. Now, we used to do a separate election edition. We used to do the October paper. Then halfway through October, we'd do an election edition because every single candidate would come in. So we would just do like sample ballots and bios and all the candidates. But that was when I had like a staff of 8 people, and now I'm just me. So
Do you find that social media hurts a little, though?
no, I think it actually helps a little bit.
You think?
Yeah, because a lot of people read the paper online.
All right, that's fair. I do. I download
Yeah.
the PDF.
So Alejandro Baez jumped on slid into my DMs. I want to get the lingo right for you youngsters. He slid into my DMs the other day.
I like him. He's a nice kid.
And he said, "Hey, I saw the paper. Really good work. Thanks for tell Mike Gagliardi thank you for the endorsement." I said, "Oh, where did you pick the paper up?" And he said, "Oh, I just read it online." And I was surprised because I thought like he would physically pick the paper up. But I called my drivers. I'm like, "Have you guys delivered yet in Methuen?" And they're like, "No, we haven't even started yet." So
the paper's not outside right
the paper's
now?
out. No, it's not outside here because my North Andover driver won't be here until tomorrow.
Okay.
So we print about 20,000 papers, and it takes a good 2 or 3 days to get them all delivered.
Sure.
I only have 5 drivers, so I have one driver that covers Lowell, Drake, and then Lawrence, and then a part of Tewksbury. Then I have another driver that does West Methuen, Central Methuen, North Andover, Boxford, Drake, Georgetown, North Andover, Boxford, Groveland, Georgetown. And then I've got Lenny Mira, who does like all the rest of Haverhill and all the way up the other way. So sometimes it takes some of our drivers a day or two to get them all out and do their routes.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't require them to do it all in one day, because sometimes, people have jobs, they have lives, they have families. So they might do 4 hours today, 4 hours tomorrow. But usually within 3 days, they're all out on the street. But if you really want to know what's going on in the paper, you pick it up online. Real quick, peace in the Middle East. Not bad for a Nazi.
I know, right?
Not bad for a Nazi.
I don't hear the Democrats today talking crap.
No, but tomorrow they'll be opposing the peace deal. They'll be saying that Trump is secretly getting billions of dollars in his back pocket.
There's people saying, it's still not enough. They haven't done the ceasefire. They need to get rid of all of their weapons in Israel because they're going to keep attacking.
Well, that's me. If I had my way, they would just obliterate all of Gaza,
Me too.
all of the West Bank.
Me too.
Turn it into a toxic garden that no one can live in, and then they've got a buffer zone between them and the terrorists.
It's actually beautiful. We should build hotels and resorts there. Actually, it will be better for that, I think.
But then they'll blow it up.
Yeah. Well,
Like, you're
didn't
talking about
Hamas go
savages.
into Israel and kill babies?
Yep, they did.
right?
October 7th,
Yeah.
2 years ago this week.
Yep.
Okay, so there's that, and then in Haverhill.
Want me to take you out of the image?
I'm not uncomfortable.
I'm almost done. In Haverhill. So disgraceful. It's on the front page of this edition of the paper. I wish I'd given you an image so you could show people. But the Haverhill chief has dishonored deceased officer Caitlin Tully. Her father's a very good friend of the family. We did a story on it. And he is now apparently, as of last night, been put on leave. Melinda Barrett, who is a left-wing lunatic Democrat who hates cops, even Melinda Barrett has stepped up to the plate and said maybe this guy shouldn't be chief, I think. There's a lot going on. There's a couple of scandals that...
I haven't seen this yet. When did it come out?
So last night,
Okay.
it was announced. It was announced last night, and I think Tim Coco did a story. But I'm told that Tim Coco's story is kind of wrong. There's more going on behind the scenes than just the homeless guy that died. So... yes, you have questions?
Imagine Brian would have done that to the chief here in Lawrence. What that would have been,
Right.
It would have been totally wrong,
Yep.
and he's not doing due process and all of that. Can we talk about that?
Yeah,
too?
Chief Aguilar could go out and shoot 15 people in McDonald's live on TV, on Facebook.
Yep.
And if Brian said, I'm putting you on leave for an investigation, Wendy Luzon and
Jill from
Jill from the Eagle Tribune would say, it's corruption!
No due process.
Due process! By the way, those of you who want to cry about due process, most of my Democrat friends who don't even know what due process is, those of you who cry about due process when it comes to the mayor of Lawrence, the mayor put an election worker on leave because they're investigating the election worker's actions. Just like when a police officer is accused of doing something, they put him on leave with pay.
Administratively, because that means
with
it's pay. Yeah.
So that they can, because here's the thing. You have a city worker, any city worker, an allegation is made. You put them on leave with pay because you can't punish them because you haven't found them to have done anything wrong yet. You have to investigate. During the investigation, you can't have them in the job because if they are guilty, they'll be strong-arming witnesses. So you have to remove them. You still pay them. You remove them, put them on leave with pay. You do an investigation. At the end of the investigation, you call the person in. You give them a chance to give their side of the story. And then you either tell them, we're going to write you up in your file, we're going to suspend you, we're going to terminate you, or we've exonerated you, we looked into it, and you're not guilty of what you're accused of. You can go back to work. That's called due process. So I understand that there's a letter that went around from the president and vice president of the city council, both of whom I'm endorsing in this election. So it was a little disappointing during an election to see this. But they said this person was being treated badly because they're being punished with no due process. No, this is the due process. This is the due process. The due process is you put them on leave pending an investigation, then you do the investigation, then you decide if there's punishment or not.
It's disrespectful to Brian's leadership, I think, to, step on his toes and say you're doing this wrong. Like, can you focus on your freaking job for once?
Right.
But that's local politics.
Well, you're
right. They want to hang someone out to dry to get the credit immediately without
the same dynamic of
research.
Trump derangement syndrome, where if Trump cured cancer, Democrats would complain that he was laying off doctors, right? That same mentality goes on in Lawrence with Brian DePena. There's a small core group of haters, and they're really despicable haters. And
People are very angry, Tom.
What's that?
The people are just
The
angry.
world is
I don't
angry.
understand. Very angry.
So, like, no matter what Brian does, like he pours his coffee wrong in the morning, he puts his pants on wrong in the morning.
He parks so close to one line in the parking lot. It's a
Or
serious.
Yeah, no, seriously. They go out and take pictures and they make a big thing on.
Yeah.
Julissa Nunez is out there measuring the distance from the curb to his wheel, and then making like a federal case about it. Brian bought, on behalf of the city, a bunch of billboards to showcase some of the programs that the city was offering people in Spanish, so that they knew what. Because most people don't watch, most people don't watch city council meetings, don't watch school committee meetings, don't go to the city website, right?
But they're so riveting.
So he bought these on behalf of the city, but it had his picture on it. And Julissa and Maji and a whole bunch of other people started running around, city councilors. This is corruption. It's corruption. He's
Because of the picture?
Because of the picture, because it's an election year, and he's stealing city money. And here's the thing. If they just came out, and because some of these people are my friends, and I've said to them, if you just came out and said, you know what, morally what Brian's doing is wrong. He's putting his picture on a billboard. It's in election time.
I don't know if that's wrong, though. If he's like speaking, if he's speaking, I don't.
Right, but morally, he's on the ballot. The city's paying for the billboard. There's billboards that are campaign
but what
billboards.
if he put his name? Would they have made the same argument?
Well, it says, Mayor Brian DePina offers you this service. So I said to them,
it's kind of the same thing.
If you want to take the position that it's wrong, it's not illegal. If you want to just say that you think that it's wrong, you shouldn't do it, that's a valid opinion to have.
Yeah, sure.
But when you elevate it to the FBI's coming in, they're going to arrest him
Well, people don't understand what illegal is. You hear all the time, he parked in the wrong spot. That's illegal.
Right.
It's
corruption.
Not illegal.
Right, corruption.
You know?
He hired his friend. It's corruption.
He's not parked in the mayor's only parking. He's parking on a different one.
Right.
Corruption.
Right. Yeah. So,
I don't think we have a mayor's only parking.
Crazy.
They got rid of all those spots.
Thank God.
Lawrence needs them.
Thank God that DJ Beauregard does not have that dynamic in Methuen as of yet. He does have one person who kind of does that, but there's only one guy that we know of.
He got rid of all the parking spots, though, I think. I don't know if he has one. Or unless Mayor Perry did. He might have.
I don't know.
I don't see anything wrong
We don't
with that.
really
What's the
need
big
it.
deal?
We really didn't need
Right.
it. The problem with Methuen Town Hall, though, is City Hall, is that there's no parking. So I get it. Although I will say there are times that I've actually had to be there that I'm like driving around. But I'm healthy enough I can walk, you know.
Who else
Did you
do we
get through your
have?
sponsors?
I think we
Are we past the sponsors?
did.
Did
oh
we?
no, yeah, we're doing topics now. So that's it with Lawrence is an election worker who's been put on leave. We will find out after the election if this person's family reached out to me this morning and said they want to talk to me because they're very upset that Brian has released the letter that he sent this person and released her name that she was put on leave and she's been accused of wrongdoing. Now, I understand, and I'm going to talk to them. Maybe they've got more information. The problem here is that the city council made it political.
They did.
The city council, during an election, released a letter. The city council president on city council letterhead released a letter intimating that this was somehow illegal or wrong.
Corruption.
And claimed that it was a violation of due process when it actually is due process. So by doing that, now the mayor has to defend himself, right? So he has released the name of the person. Late last night, early this morning, he posted the letter that he sent this election worker, whose name I'm not going to mention because she might even be innocent. But
she does work for a public, right? Isn't she?
Yes, but personnel issues, until you're found guilty of wrongdoing.
They can't share that information.
Well, I mean, Joe Solomon wasn't convicted of anything, and they certainly ran him through the mud. William Castro was never convicted, and Wendy Luzon and the city council dragged him through the mud.
Thank you.
While he was in the middle of an investigation, right? And he certainly did not get his due process while the city council was kicking the crap out of William Castro. So there's a lot of hypocrisy going on here, and some of them are my friends, and I'm endorsing almost all of them. But that doesn't mean what they're doing on this particular issue is right.
This one and other issues too, Tom.
I agree.
Don't be blinded by that either.
It's become very political, and I have not seen the city council this political in a really long time. Like going back to even under Willie Lantigua, they had opportunities to
that
use.
Was fun times.
I made so much money on that. It was ridiculous. But even during Willie Lantigua, you had councilors that could have made political hay out of a lot of the corruption, the real corruption that was going on, and still didn't do it at the table. They waited till they were at a radio station. They didn't do it on city council letterhead. They were still more professional.
Yeah.
And so I'm cautioning my friends on the council to stop believing their own propaganda and to step back a little bit.
It's not democracy.
Because the people involved
take a breather, right?
Because the people involved have endorsed Brian's opponent.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's true.
And it looks bad. And I know 100%, I'm not even going to say her name. I know 100% Stephanie Infante did not sign this letter and did not involve herself in this because she's supporting Manny Gonzalez. I don't believe for 1 second that that's the case. However, the second it hit, I got phone calls from all the mayor's friends going, oh, look at this, your girl endorses Manny Gonzalez on one day, and 48 hours later on city council letterhead, she's playing politics. So I'm going to defend her to the hilt because I don't believe knowing who she is as a person. However, I do see how other people could see it that way. I do see how the mayor is going to exploit it that way. And now they're kind of the victim of their own mistakes. This is an unforced error on their part. All right, so what else do we have? I think that's all we have. Before we get to Jada, we have one more Lawrence thing. Let's pull that up. Do you have the midget's endorsements?
The what?
The midget. Mike Gagliardi's endorsements.
Why you call him that?
Because he's a midget.
He really is?
I don't know. He isn't.
There he is. Yeah.
Is he for really?
No, he's not.
He's like 5 feet.
No,
maybe.
he's not.
Mike Gagliardi?
I think he's taller than I am.
He's like 4'5".
Oh my God. I can't right now.
Oh my God, he's a paid sponsor
He's not.
here.
But he's also not.
Not
so
only
it's okay.
is he a paid sponsor, he is the highest paid Valley Patriot advertiser for 21 years straight. At the end of the year, we print out how much money we made on each advertiser, and we do it in order of who paid us the most for the year. And every single year for 21 years, he's number one.
Wow.
He is our number one financial backer. He secretly sits on my board. Most people don't know that. I tried to explain to DJ Borgard one day, if you knew who was sitting on my board, you wouldn't be pissing on the Valley Patriot. And every once in a while I'll say to somebody, is this really the hill you want to die on attacking? You want to attack me, attack me. You want to attack the Valley Patriot, that's going to be a whole different ballgame for you. So here's Mike Gagliardi, president of Labor's Union Local 175. This is on page 10 of today's Valley Patriot. He has endorsed Brian DePena, which I have to say is very surprising.
Really?
Very surprising.
Why?
He endorsed Brian 2 years ago. I know he was not really happy about the Scott Wood situation. I know he was not really happy about a couple of Matos, what's his first name? Carlos Matos situation. I know he's not happy about the Ralph Carrero situation.
Why?
And so I thought from
At least he's licensed to be a superintendent. Jesus.
Oh, well.
Sorry, no jabs at you.
No, what do you mean? I voted no.
Oh, you
I
did?
Was, yes, I was only one of two.
She's no Nick DeZoglio.
Oh.
She's no Nick DeZoglio.
Come on.
So here's his endorsement, Brian DePena, and I was a little surprised by this, but I really thought he was going to go either stay out of it or go with Manny, but he has gone last minute with Brian DePena as the mayor of Lawrence. Here is his city council picks. Not a bad list. Most of these people are on my list, too. Giovanni Rodriguez at large, I am also supporting Giovanni. Selena Reyes, I am also supporting Selena Reyes. Anna Levy, I am also supporting. I wavered on Anna Levy. She's a friend, but I wavered on her because I really wanted to support John Regal. But when he got so insane, negative, hateful on the mayor, you'll notice Nilson Rosario came in a solid fourth place in that race, and he never once went negative on the mayor. He never once injected himself and insulted other candidates in other races of any kind. And unfortunately, our friend John, who I really like, and I think
I know he was going to put in the work. I know he was.
Listen, and I think he's got a place in this business and a voice in future elections.
Yeah.
But I think he made some rookie mistakes and listened to the haters. He thought they were his friends. They're using him to support their own agenda, and he fell for it.
Yep.
And I think
he forgot about his friends like me.
When the election is over and the dust clears and his phone stops ringing and these people don't take his calls anymore, then he'll realize that, maybe Tom and Carlotta were probably right?
And I'll be there for him afterwards.
I will too.
And if he wants to run again in 2 years, if he changes his mind.
If he has learned his lesson in 2 years, I will run his campaign.
Wow.
I will run his campaign.
And I will help.
Okay. Who else do we have? Franklin Miguel in District A have not yet endorsed anyone in District A. I'm the only person left.
Because Frankie Miguel has been endorsed by
Every
everyone.
person on the face of the earth.
Mother Teresa.
Came back from the dead to endorse you.
Donald Trump.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Joe Biden woke up from his coma and endorsed Franklin Miguel.
He's in a coma?
Well, mentally.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Autopen.
But I have to say, I really like Lizzie Rivas. And did you see the pictures of Lizzie Rivas last night at John Regal's event?
Yes, that sexy cut out on her shoulder.
Can I tell you?
my
I don't follow
God.
Lawrence politics, but I see the ads all the time. They have some of the most beautiful
Absolutely.
women running.
Dominican women.
Vivian Marmol.
Gorgeous.
Stephanie Infante.
Stephanie's gorgeous.
Another hottie. They're all hot, yeah.
Who do we have left? Rosalie Gonzalez. I have not made an endorsement in that race either. So here's what I'm doing. I'm either going to endorse Wendy or I'm going to endorse nobody. And I'm probably not going to endorse Wendy.
Do not endorse Wendy.
I'm probably not going to, but I haven't
you.
decided. Gregory Rosario.
My
friend. And sponsor of the Valley Patriot and a good guy. Vivian Marmol, who still has not called me or even texted me to say thank you.
Oh.
Stephanie Infante.
She loves you from a distance.
Yeah.
From a distance.
No, you know what it is? They're telling her not to get close to you.
Well, then shame on her. I'm still going to endorse it because I think she does a good job, but I'm a little hurt.
You're also endorsing her because she looks nice in
No,
pants,
I'm endorsing
in
her.
those
I'm endorsing her because I think she does a good job.
Okay.
Even though I disagree with some of her votes.
She works hard.
Stephanie Infante, who's like a daughter to me now, and I'm so glad that she won like 72-1 in the primary.
Yeah.
And then you got
She works hard.
You got Jonathan Guzman. Here's where I didn't like it. Jonathan Guzman, Jessica Rodriguez. Oh God, I think I called her Gonzalez in my story. I'm sorry about that, Jessica. She's actually family.
Is it?
Jessica Rodriguez.
Is it Rodriguez?
Is it Rodriguez or
Or
Gonzalez?
Ramirez?
I don't know. Can you look it up?
Oh my gosh.
Did I screw that one up? Maybe I did.
No.
Just vote Jessica. That's all you do.
Look, there's a Jessica.
Ramirez.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Rodriguez. It wasn't even Gonzalez. It was a third option.
It wasn't even Rodriguez. Ramirez.
Well, just vote for Jessica. That's all that counts.
Yeah, there you go.
By the way, she's family. She's the grandmother.
Meanwhile, she's reading it going, who the hell
Yeah, who's running
is
against
this? Who is he endorsing?
Who's running against
This person isn't even running.
Oh, my
Why
God.
don't you have me proofread these things?
It was
So what was her last
4:30 in the
name?
morning.
Ramirez.
Ramirez. I like the way.
Oh, my
Carlotta
God.
says it.
By the way, she's family. She is the grandmother of our John Radka, Eugene Smith,
Oh, the scholarship.
hero veteran, JROTC scholarship winner, J. Ronnie Farron from this year's bash.
way.
So I found out because a picture, I guess J. Ronnie is in boot camp right now. And so she posted a picture of him in boot camp with another picture of her with him at my bash. And I went, wait a minute. What? She's a left-wing lunatic running for school committee. She was at my bash. So I went on and I asked her, like, you're a left-wing lunatic running for school committee. Why were you at my bash? Like, everybody's welcome, but I was just surprised. And she said, because Jay Ronnie's my grandson. I think he's her step-grandson. Oh. And I was like, well, your family, why didn't you call me? I would have endorsed you. I would have helped you. She's like, well, you're kind of conservative. I'm kind of. Do you think I care about that?
It doesn't matter.
I don't care about party. I don't care about any of that.
I believe she's like the campaign manager. She was for state rep. What's his name? Francisco Paulino.
Oh, really? Because I know he's supporting her.
I believe so.
And Quinn Gunnell, who bought an ad in the Valley Patriots.
Smart guy.
Now, the one person who's not on here.
But he's for Palestine, by the way.
Quinn Gunnell's for Palestine?
Is for Palestine.
Saying you're for Palestine means you're for exterminating Jews. There is no Palestine. There's never been a Palestine. Okay, you can pull that down. Right. There's never been a Palestine.
It's interesting what they wrote on the bottom there, too, though.
Oh, you want to put that back up?
Yeah.
So I got a call from the city council that was very upset about the quote under Brian saying Dominicans must come together to elect Dominican leadership for the city of Lawrence.
I know,
I'll get to it.
All right.
You know, she joined us for lunch and she never stopped talking the entire time.
Yes, she did.
She sat down and never took a breath once. She asked me 37 questions. I tried to answer the first one.
I did do that. I did do that.
We are demanding that all successful city councilors re-elect at-large Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez as city council president over the next 2 years to continue the stellar leadership he has provided to the city of Lawrence over the last 2 years. Mike Gagliardi, president, it should say midget, but president of Laborers Union Local 175 of North America.
How long has he been president? Like forever?
I started the Valley Patriot in 2004, and he was president then. He was our first advertiser, by the way, in 2004. Mike has been I'm a right-wing lunatic Trump supporter, and he's a left-wing president of a labor union. And we work together so damn well, it's ridiculous.
But why shouldn't you? I don't understand.
Ridiculous.
I don't understand.
So a lot of people can't even get along with family members who
that
vote
goes back to the
differently.
anger.
Right.
That goes back to the
hatred.
anger.
So
you know?
I did get a call from a city council who said they thought what he wrote was racist. I can't say I disagree.
The
not
Dominican
racist.
quote? The Dominican quote?
Yeah, the Dominican quote.
Race is color, okay? Ethnicity is a different thing. And racist, everyone is racist. What does racist mean? You prefer your race over others.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to marry a Dominican man, a man with my same color of skin.
Yeah, but
is that racist?
Marriage is different, right?
I'll marry
in a way?
I'll marry a Dominican woman to make her a citizen if she wants me to marry her.
They're actually paying on the black market $50,000
I'll take
to marry
I'll
someone
take
to
it.
give them papers.
I was gonna pay her $50,000 to marry me,
Nah,
but if she
she'll
wants to
pay
pay
you.
me, I'm okay with
you.
that.
People can marry whoever they want.
all right
I just
with
think that
that.
instinctively, like what sometimes you just go for what you're used to,
Right.
especially if you're not exposed to anything
Exactly.
else.
Well, the
But
problem
now
is-
the world is bigger.
The
so
problem
it's
is discrimination.
Oh,
if you see me and you
100%.
say, "Oh, you're Latina," okay, you're a thief. Let me be careful with you. That's
Right.
different. That's wrong.
Right.
But
Yeah.
racist, come on now.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let me say hi to people here on the chat.
I actually had like a
Everyone's-
whole spiel I was going to do, but I can't get a word in edge with these two. So
I haven't said anything.
Forget
You're
the whole
getting back
goddamn
at me.
thing.
I'm like
okay,
dying
Tom.
over here.
show everybody the intern can because we're going to try and get a sponsor for this. Everybody see how hot intern girl looks
I
today.
didn't even like look nice. I'm not wearing a tight. Hold on,
you-
let me take down
I'm
a button.
going-
Yeah, do that.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah, baby.
Lord.
All right, very good. There she is. It's intern girl.
So
So
pretty.
we're trying. Don't do that.
No,
Come
I'm
on.
fixing myself.
Come on, you're like a daughter to me. I'm
The camera's
This is
on the
horrible.
bottom. That's the problem.
Oh,
Right.
all right, let's go back.
So I wanted to show you that because we're looking for a sponsor for the intern girl Kim. Why do I even come? I should just let you two do the show.
Right?
He
You
said
wanna
it.
be here
he
next
said
Thursday?
it. Sure, we're good.
We have Ken Willett, Bobby Body.
What?
Go.
Just go.
Okay.
It's
I
your
wanna-
show.
Oh, thank you. We have Alex Rodriguez watching. We have Capsula Roja watching. Ken Willett, was he endorsed also with 175?
Well, we're going to show the Methuen thing in a second.
All right. We already have some questions for Jana. We have
Okay,
Bobby
we'll get to
Body.
that
He's
in a
saying it go Manny. And then Kristen Maxwell said, intern girl looking good.
Oh, she's so
Thank
cute.
you. She is.
So I'm looking for a sponsor for the intern girl Kim. So you see how we have the ads at the bottom? So when we go to intern girl, your ad will be on her screen when she shows. That's why I wanted you to
Okay.
show them. And so we're looking
that's
for we're looking for
interesting.
one sponsor. It's going to be $200 a month, and every time we go to intern girl, you're going to be the intern girl Kim sponsor.
You should do like a frame.
Right.
And you could put the sponsor
Right.
around it. That's a great
I love the idea.
They can also tell me what to wear. Well, not what color to wear.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll
be
do
careful.
we'll do specialty.
Don't say that. Be careful.
All of a sudden,
What color?
all of a sudden,
no,
we're,
just ask them, what's your favorite color?
Yeah, there you go.
all of a sudden, we're OnlyFans.
Oh, my God.
If it wasn't for
Is this
Alejandro, I
public
would.
access here?
It is public. We tape in a public access studio,
Oh,
but we're
okay,
not
okay.
on public access. So when I left Two Guys Smoke Shop, we left very amicably. I love Dave over there, but it was an insurance issue, and so we came here and we made the pitch to do the show here.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we can put you on the air, but and then of course it's public access, so
Sure.
you can't swear, you can't smoke, you can't have an advertisement.
Tom's like, I'm out.
So I was like, okay, well, we can't do that. And then I started thinking, and I said, well, what if we only tape here, go live on Facebook and YouTube, and
you
post
pay.
it on, but I'll pay you for the time.
Sure.
And he said, Brian Frazier, who's great, said, well, we don't really have like anything set up for
What's
that.
his last name?
Frazier, no relation.
Okay.
So he said, well, we're not set up for that. Like, we've never done that before. And I said, well, make me your test case. Pitch me an offer for a price. Here's what I was paying over there, but that included paying the producer. I'm going to bring my own producer in. Give me a price. He gave me a price. It was a little higher than I was hoping. And we did 2 shows, and he came to me and said, you know what, this is a little higher than it should be. On his own. I didn't say a word.
That's awesome.
And he said, you know what, this is a little higher than it should be. I'm going to knock it down. He knocked it down a little bit.
You don't hear people doing that much,
No,
right?
great guy, and Nick and everybody here is awesome. And so if you watch the first couple of shows, we have no background. right? It was just black. It was
right here.
horrible, 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 horrible.
This looks like the one that was in the other place.
Well, it is. I took a picture of the background
Oh
in
my
the other
gosh.
place. We brought it here. And, so
and it's even on the cup.
right? Yeah, because I. Right. All right, to my left, to your right. She just finally got the. You can pull the other endorsement up. She finally got the endorsement. She didn't get it in the primary, but she got it now. She finally got the endorsement of the
But I
midget.
didn't get the picture.
You almost had the picture. You almost had the picture.
Well, I mean, John's clearly better looking
your
than I am,
your
so.
picture was where Alejandro is, and we had a discussion, and we decided that Alejandro actually
I'm
needed the votes
glad.
more than you did
I'm
because
glad
you're
he
hot.
got it.
And he's not.
No one's
quite,
gonna read the rest of it.
he's
She
not
was
as hot
there.
as you are. So here's the midget's picks for.
Tom.
I'm sorry, that's what I just call him. You know, I went to a retirement party at the Laborers Union. He invited me to come take pictures. He paid me like $1,000 to come take pictures of his party. So I walked in and I said, "Hey, where's the midget?" And the whole place stopped. It was like E.F. Hutton. The whole place stopped.
He's that short. I mean, I'm not that tall, but
Because
I don't think he's that
because
short.
everybody's afraid of him because of his reputation, and everybody thought
You have to meet him now.
everybody thought he was
I
going
don't
to
think he's
kill
that
me. They
short.
were like, "Oh my God, he's going to shoot you if he hears you say that." I'm like, "Nah, he likes it." So he came around the corner and went, "Hey, the midget," and he hugged me, and everybody just looked like, "How did you get away with calling him that to his face?" It was crazy.
My friend texted me. He said, "Qué cabrón, di que un midget."
Oh my God. Hey, I did not mean that as an insult to John, by the way.
What?
It was
No, that's
supposed to be
fine.
funny. I hope it didn't come across that way.
No.
Here's his picks. John Drew at large, JANA ZANNI PESCE at large. I asked him, why won't you support Ryan? Why won't you support Jim Sassioni? And he said, those are my two picks. That's it. He wouldn't give me a reason. In fact, in the primary, he only endorsed John Drew. Well, you guys didn't have a primary, but during primary time, he ran an ad last month and said he only wanted John Drew. And then we had a conversation, and he added JANA ZANNI.
I
Ron,
was surprised, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, because I've met him.
you shouldn't be.
and
He endorsed your dad every time he ran for mayor.
every time, and I met him through that. That's
Yeah.
why I was surprised.
Yeah.
That's all.
I said, she's hot. You have to endorse her.
Okay, I don't think that's my best quality to lead for council, but okay.
I'm smart too, you know. I have a degree. Ron Marsan, East District. Nellie Soto, East District. Ella McLaren. Yeah, that one. I don't get. I'm going to endorse Ella McLaren. I just don't
She's
get
a
why.
redhead.
I just don't I know, but I don't understand why he's endorsing Ella McLaren. Yanilda Santos, who is my candidate in the
You
Central
love
District.
her.
Oh, my God, I love her so much. She's the future Mrs. Duggan. Patricia Valley, who I also love in the West District. And then for school committee, all four of my candidates, Kristen Maxwell, Ken Willett, Alejandro Baez, Maria Figueroa, and that is from the Laborers Union Local 175. That's the end of the show, folks. Good night. Thanks for coming.
Any special? Can you want to read that? At the
No,
bottom?
it just says, union workers are lucky to have people like this. Blah, 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 blah.
All right.
Blah, blah, blah.
To my left, to your right, here in the studio, we have the sexiest woman alive, JANA ZANNI PESCE. And before we get to her, I have one more thing to say about this, because you and JANA have something in common. I often, at least twice a week, hear from people telling me that I should not be calling you intern girl and I should not be calling her the sexiest woman alive. Usually it's from white liberal women who are over the age of 50.
Okay.
Sometimes a little younger, but usually not. And when I tell them that intern girl likes being called intern girl, JANA ZANNI PESCE likes being called the sexiest woman alive.
But tell them why.
Because you're the sexiest woman alive.
No, because I don't see it as purely physical. Being an attorney is sexy. Being outspoken is sexy. Being able to debate is
A
sexy.
mother.
Being a mom is sexy. Trust me.
None of those things are sexy.
They are all.
I hate to tell
Listen,
you.
there are so many things about a woman you don't realize that draw you in. Looks is just a tip of the iceberg.
You know what's really sexy? Women who are quiet.
I'm out. Bye. I just lost my designation. Oh God.
But here's what I find interesting about all of that is that when you say a woman is sexy first, they're first, these people's first, because they're conditioned, they're brainwashed by society, they're brainwashed by our media culture. Their first reaction before you finish your sentence is, "Well, I bet she's smart too. Why aren't you talking about why she's smart?" As
No one
if,
wants to hear this.
as if,
I don't need to prove I'm smart.
as if. I swear to God, I'll get through one sentence during this show without being interrupted. Honest to God, I will.
I will be quiet. Ready? I'll just play with the cup.
By the way, this was our entire lunch last week when we went to Sevmar. When we went to Jocelyn's.
You
like
didn't have
dinner,
the
though.
cup.
She walked in. I
but
wanted
you
to
didn't have the cup.
I wanted to talk to Kristen Maxwell about the show, and she came in like a motorboat, but she never stopped.
Listen, when
We're
I
an hour
was
and
little,
14. We're an hour and 14
listen.
minutes into the show, and I haven't said anything.
When I was little, my mother, I was the exact same way, just shorter, right? I'm waiting for a Gagliardi joke from him. But my mother literally said to me, I really hope you can find a way to make money off of your mouth because you just don't stop talking.
She does not.
And I did. I became an attorney. So
There
there
you
you go.
But you still have to sit in the courtroom and let the friggin' judge talk. How do you do that?
So
I'm the host. You never
listen,
let me get one sentence out without interrupting me.
But this is casual, right? This is
Right,
fun.
right.
And I know I don't want to say I know my place. That sounds awful, but I do.
I like it, though.
I know decorum. I understand people. I do. I have a
Right.
good understanding of people. My point is in court, you act a certain way. At the council meetings, listen, people go on and on
I
and
know,
on.
it's crazy.
I am very careful
How do you
about what
deal
I
with it?
say, and I'm succinct. I don't need to get on my soapbox. I don't need to grandstand. Less is more in certain situations.
Okay, and that
the
will be
council meeting and the court.
and that will be right now.
not
So I want to finish my point.
here. Not here.
But I want to finish my point.
I'm gonna let you
because
finish
we
your
haven't
point.
gotten to the interview yet because I haven't. It took me an hour to
You
get through
were
my
talking about
sponsors.
Lawrence.
Keep going, keep
he
going.
was talking about Lawrence. Come on now,
Yeah.
but go ahead.
So what I find interesting is that whenever I say she's the sexiest woman alive, usually women, I will get before I even finish my sentence, they'll be like, "Well, I bet she's smart too. I bet she's got a degree too. Why don't you talk about?" As if they're mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
And my answer is always, if in your head you hear me call her pretty, and you think that makes her dumb, you're the misogynist.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And so I've had a number of people, even recently, who just stumbled on the show. They were surfing Facebook, they were surfing YouTube, they found the show, send me emails, like long 4-paragraph emails about how sexist it is that I call you the sexiest woman alive because they Googled you and you've got a law degree and I should be talking about how smart you are. And I'm like, I do. I just wasn't at that exact moment. And there's no requirement when you call someone pretty to then say, "Oh, she also has a degree and she's really smart."
Yeah.
Because if you're the one, I'm going to say it again, who hears me call someone sexy or another man call someone sexy, and you think that makes her dumb, you're the idiot. You're the one that's the misogynist. You're the one that's got the problem, not me. Because she's a very smart lady. I'm endorsing. Listen, there's nobody I'm endorsing in any race ever in any election that's an idiot. I don't support people because they're pretty. Yeah. We joke about that, right?
Yeah, we joke about it. Yeah.
I don't know if I totally agree with that, but yeah, go ahead.
Yanilda Santos is, I think, a striking woman. But I had
very cute.
But I had lunch
She's
with her
very
for
cute.
3 hours on the deck at Salvatore's to find out what makes her tick and how does she think. Not just what her opinion is, but why is that your opinion? What makes you tick?
Can I ask you a question? Only because I heard it. I don't know if it's
Sure.
true. Not that it matters. Are the two Santoses related?
No. Oh,
so they said
which
that
two
they were
Santoses?
sister-in-laws. Wanda and I.
Yes,
I haven't had a chance
Wanda's
to ask her.
husband,
Is
her brother.
their sister? No. Oh, I
Wanda's
thought
husband
is
Yanilda's brother.
so they're sister-in-laws.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yep.
That's interesting.
And Yanilda is wonderful. And by the way, Wanda's wonderful too. We
Yeah.
can have her on
Yeah,
the show.
they're both very nice. I've met them both.
But I've known Wanda a little bit. She helps TMF. She's great. But I didn't endorse Yanilda because she's pretty.
You didn't? Oh, you did. You did. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I didn't
I'm like,
endorse her because
I thought you
she's pretty.
endorsed her.
I endorsed her because we sat on the deck at Sal's. It was supposed to be a half-an-hour lunch. 3 hours later, we were still talking about everything from religion and God and philosophy and politics and race and culture and media and education.
Yeah. And I watched that show.
She actually said to
she
me
was
on the
quick.
deck, and I shouldn't let this out before the election. I don't want to cost her votes, but she actually said to me when we had lunch, she said, we spend way too much money on education. And I was like, I was ready to pay for the bill when she said that. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. She said, we spend way too much money on education. We need to reimagine. We need to reform the way we spend money on education because every year we spend more and every year we get less. And I thought it was a perfect encapsulation of what I've been trying to say for 25 years about education. You look at what we spent in Methuen or Lawrence, and I graduated high school in 85. You look at what we were spending in 85. You look at what they're spending now. You look at the quality of education kids were getting in 85, and you look at the quality now. We're
But the
spending
programs,
10
too.
times more money now on education, and at least 1/3 of the kids are graduating being able to read than were in 1985 in both communities.
Can I blame something to that?
Yeah, but-
the union.
Well, absolutely. The teachers' unions are 100% part of
salaries.
that.
Like some teachers are making $90,000. You teach third grade,
Right.
and you only work 10 months a year.
So that's hard for me because my parents were both in education. The job they do.
But back then it was very different, and that's
even
the point.
now, I gotta support my teachers. Listen, the way you are with police, and I love my first responders too, but that's how I feel about teachers because I really.
But cops actually do their job.
I
They
could
actually go out
never
and
do
arrest
that
people.
job. Like I know how much I make doing my job, and I disagree.
Fewer
I think
kids
they
in
work hard.
Methuen.
They work hard.
Fewer kids in Methuen today graduate being able to read at grade level than 5 years. I'm not talking 25 years. Than 5
But
years
Tom,
ago.
what about the parents?
What about the parents? They send their kid to school because the government tells them they have to.
But that's
And they
the
have to
only
work.
thing. But that's the only thing. My parents did one-on-one with me. I did one-on-one with my kids. There is a certain amount of homework.
So when the
that
teachers
needs to be
fail, we
done.
blame the parents. But then when the parents
No.
try to get involved, the teachers don't want the parents involved. They throw them out of the schools and say, "You're a helicopter parent. Get out of here. They're our kids now." So how do these kids win? Who's advocating for them?
Collaboration. There's none. That's the problem.
Did you get endorsed by the teachers union?
The Methuen educators.
That's why we're where we are right
That's
now.
not even true. I'm
She
a
said it's
product
from her parents.
Literally, I'm a product of 2 teachers, and my kids have academically excelled since they were little. Listen, some of that is from the teaching in school, but it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop when you go home. I remember my son was excelling so much in math that I had to go. I went to Target. I haven't been able to do his math since he was in 2nd grade. And I had to
Because
get
they
extra
changed the
books.
math. They changed the math.
No. I taught him old school math too. And he never did Russian math, and he is excelling at Phillips Academy. The math that he's doing now, I wish I had a picture.
Where did he go to grammar school?
So he went to the CGS.
Yeah, and?
Number one.
then St. Michael's
Right,
after
and then
COVID.
St. Michael's, that's why he's doing as well as
No,
he's doing.
the math program. So to be honest, the English in St. Michael's is much better in my opinion, the program. The math was much better at the CGS.
I don't know.
It was much better.
I don't know if you know this, but the number 1 school ranked boarding schools in the area is CGS, number 1.
In Methuen.
In
Yeah.
Methuen, Lawrence too.
Okay, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the
No,
top
I did
one.
I did know that.
So here's how I weigh it, and then we're going to get into
They had
like,
advanced math, that's why.
My son takes advanced
Yeah.
math in 7th grade.
Yeah.
The only school that
your
offers
oldest
that.
son's name is
Albert.
Albert. Okay. I've only met him once, and I've met the little one a whole bunch of times. So here's how I look at it. If I owned a car factory and I produced cars, I produced a Honda factory in Detroit, and 80% of the cars that came off the assembly line didn't drive, I'd be bankrupt. My employees would not have a job, and some other car company would come in and take the place and produce better cars. But in public education, we don't allow that. In public education, even when we set up charter schools, the teachers' unions and the people who are the guardians of public education oppose charter schools. They oppose vouchers for parents to be able to take the money that we're spending on them in public school and let them take that money to a private school and give their kids a better education, because they don't care about education. They don't care about the kids. They care about their own political interests. And the proof is they interviewed all of the school committee candidates. They made endorsements of all the, among the school committee candidates. I asked every single school committee candidate except for Danielle Fantry, who I've never met. I asked all the others. Did they ask you one question about academics? It was DEI. It was, what do you think about field trips? It was, what do you think about food in the schools? What do you think about the new superintendent search? Not one friggin' question about reading comprehension, about bringing kids up to speed in math, about the fact that 80% of the kids who graduate can't get into a 4-year college, about the fact that 80% of the kids that do get into a 4-year college can't get to the 2nd year. Not one question. You're supposed to be teachers. You preach to us in the media every day that you care about the children, but all of your questions were about politics. You asked you asked Kristen Maxwell, why do you hang out with Tom Duggan? Don't you realize
That
that's
was one of her questions?
One of
I
her
don't
questions was
think so.
100%. 100%.
No.
Yes.
Because I think they sent the same questions to everybody.
She interviewed with them for an hour and a half.
she interviewed
Everybody
with
else
them.
did 20 minutes. And one of the last questions was, you do realize Tom Duggan hurts your reputation. Why are you hanging out with Tom Duggan? Why are you listening
people
to Tom
say that
Duggan?
to me too, though.
But these are teachers who aren't asking questions about friggin' reading. But they're asking about a guy that lives in North Andover that runs a newspaper.
So much of that, though, comes from the top. You know, when I was on the school committee, I felt like I was beating my head against a brick wall sometimes, right? And it was hard. I mean, I remember when I casually suggested that we should go back to like number grading
Well,
because I
we
was
should.
Oh, you would have thought that I suggested.
Right.
I mean,
because that measures teacher performance, and they don't want that.
No, it wasn't teacher performance. It's all about the students. People care too much. And listen, let me say this.
She's
loosely.
bought into this.
No, it's true.
What do we do with her?
Listen to me. People, the response they got was, "Oh, it's unconscious bias," and I'm like, "How?
No.
How? If you get a 90 to 100, you've got an A.
Right.
Like to me, take the subjectivity
Right,
out of it.
right.
I'm all about rules and procedure. My whole
The
life.
teachers don't like it because it measures whether the teachers are doing their job. And if a kid,
I don't know, Tom.
Listen, if you have 20 kids in a classroom and a teacher comes in and they teach a certain subject, pick a subject, let's say remedial math, and at the end of the week or 2 weeks they do a test, and most of the kids get a 65, that measures whether the teacher did her job or not. Not how smart the kids are. It measures whether the teacher did a correct job, did a good job instructing them to understand the material. Here's the other thing. When a kid fails all their classes because of this abstract grading, they give them a passing grade. They pass them on to the next grade, and now they're behind, and now they never catch up because they're not equipped to be in the next grade.
So this is my problem with public education in general, and I don't know how to solve.
This
the
is way better
problem.
than an interview, right?
Right?
Yeah, I like the conversation
So,
style.
Well, my whole thing is I just don't think we focus enough on like those average students who can move up. We keep focusing on the low performing students, and not that we don't need to focus on them, we do, but it shouldn't be our main focus.
I agree. We
So
dumb
when
down the
I-
classroom to
And
the
we
dumbest
should
kids in the
keep
class.
other kids from going back, doing better.
And when I went to Methuen Public Schools, and I was a huge advocate. My husband wanted Catholic school from the day my kids were born, and I was like, no.
Good for him.
Like, listen, it was a good decision for us. I mean, everybody knows I'm a pretty religious person. COVID kind of was the catalyst.
Are you
we
Catholic?
Needed. I'm Catholic.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. I mean, we teach
St.
CCD.
Michael's.
My husband. Yeah. Well, actually, St. Lucy's.
Oh, okay.
Because
okay.
it was, yeah. But it was a good decision for our family. But it's nothing against public education. It was a personal decision. But anyway, when I was in school, they had all the advanced programs and everything, and you could I remember they let you take high school classes, and you could go over to the high school if you were, accelerated. And we don't do that. And every time the test performances came out, right, I'd always say this: why aren't we focusing on that middle section of kids who just need a little oomph, right? Need a little challenge to move, to swing that needle up, and that would get our averages up. It's not only about the struggling bottom, 10 or 20%, and that's where we're throwing all of our money.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
at what point do you stop putting money at a problem that's not going away? Because out of that 10 or 20, you put those resources into them, and guess what? A lot of them do well with it. Great. But what about the ones who don't? Now they're moving up, and you're still pouring money. You're pouring money, right? And then, I mean, it is what it is, but...
When teachers are spending time in the classroom talking about Jimmy has two mommies, Bobby thinks he's a woman, boys
I
should
don't
play
think
in girls'
politics should be in the school at
bathrooms.
all, no matter the politics.
I
Good,
agree.
right, or indifferent.
listen,
No social causes
I agree,
should
but
be.
the
I don't
teachers
think-
disagree.
I don't
And-
think that's true,
and it's the
Tom.
teachers
we'll
that are
we'll
pushing
agree to
this.
disagree with on that. I don't think they are. And I hear you say it all the time. I don't think they're pushing that.
Well,
I really
Speaking
don't.
of education, my son got 100 on his social studies
Oh,
test
yay.
today.
Nice.
This morning I
Yay,
woke up,
Albert.
I had one eye open and I read, we have a quiz on total, on inequalities. And I was like, what? I got up really quick. I was like, oh,
Give him a
math. Math
oh, my
inequalities.
God.
I was about to flip out.
Well, I did get something from a parent yesterday. I'm going to meet with them on Monday about a lesson plan about sex with their very young Methuen student. I have the material. They sent it to me. It was 4 in the morning when I looked at it. I was beyond shocked, and it takes a lot to shock me. Been around in the Methuen schools, and for the last 5 years, I've come on this program, and I've talked about what the teachers in the Methuen schools are doing. And the answer that I get is, Tom, show me in the curriculum where it is. Well, just because it's not written in paper that's in the curriculum doesn't mean it's not being talked about in the classroom. That's the deception. That's the political deception that politicians and people who are political minded use to deceive you into thinking something's not happening. They're not saying it's not happening. What they're saying is it's not in the curriculum to lead you to believe it's not happening, when what they're really saying is it's just not in the curriculum. It's not written down in the curriculum that you have to say this, but teachers are still doing it in the damn classroom. And so I come
I
on the
never
show.
experienced any of that with my kids
I've forwarded
when they
things
were
to you over the years. We've talked about it privately. I've had parents now starting to come forward because Brandy's on her way out, and now they're feeling a little more brave. They were afraid of retaliation. And parents that were coming to me 3 years ago are now coming back to me going, now that she's on her way out, we might be willing to go public. So there's a very good chance that this student and her parents may be on the show next week or the week after to talk
Probably
about
specific,
the
though, to that
blatant,
teacher or
disgusting
that-
sexual things that are being taught to students who are before 7th grade.
But keep an open mind because it could be a one bad apple scenario. I'm just saying that the experiences I had with the teachers that were my children's teachers were phenomenal.
Let me
The
ask,
CGS?
It's CGS.
Yeah, that's why.
phenomenal.
Let me
I've
ask you a
never had
question.
bad
My
experience.
son went to school at the tennis school, and he transferred over to the CGS. It's been day and night.
Really?
I get information every single day about what they're doing in class, what's going on.
So
I get
that's what we
newsletters.
need. We need to make it
More
even across the board.
communication, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. That's why CJ is number one. For the
if
communication.
Tom Duggan was next door to your house,
Yeah.
visiting your neighbor,
Yeah.
God.
and your kids were playing in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I went over and I started talking to them about butt sex. If I went over and I started talking to them about dildos. If I went over and started talking to them about...
This is not happening in our schools, though. I have a hard time believing that, if that's the bridge
This
you're
is the
making
problem.
right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the problem. People in charge refuse to believe what's happening when you tell them that it's happening.
You know I'm not
When
running for school committee, though, right?
But I know, but what I'm saying is when you tell people in the community who are in positions of power
But show
that
me.
something is
Show me,
happening, I will
because
send
I
it.
will- if
But I
you
just
send
told
it
you
to
I have
me-
the documents. I
So
will send
give
them
it to
to
me.
you.
Give it to
but
me.
your first instinct is I don't believe that it's happening. You
Because
don't want to
that's
believe that it's
insane.
happening.
That's
You don't want to
insane.
believe that it's happening because it's insane. But I've been saying this for 5 years and nobody's been listening. Now we have parents coming forward who are ready to go on the record with the documents that they've shown me that was sent to me 4 or 5 years ago too when I complained about it when we were up in Salem. And I remember
I'm
calling.
Going to
I
take
remember
him up
calling.
on that after the show.
I
and
remember.
wanna
I'm going to
see-
send it
yeah.
to you right now. I'm going to send it to
All
you
right,
right
I don't
now.
have my phone,
Right now,
though,
I'm going to
'cause
send it to you.
I'm on
I'm
air.
going to send it to you on Facebook. So I guess my point is that these things are happening, and the first knee-jerk reaction of people in power who should be watching over this stuff is, I don't believe it. And when you say to someone, it happens at the national level too. Right now, the government is shut down because the Democrats want health care for illegal aliens. So what's the first thing they do? Is they say, it's a total fantasy. It's not happening. It's not happening. So Democrats who want to believe they're Democrat overlords say, it's not happening. They're all over Facebook. It's a lie. It's a lie. Tom, illegal aliens, it's against federal law for them to get health care. And that's true, but it's another deception by omission because the federal government reimburses the states for health care. And Massachusetts has spent more than $1 billion on health care for illegal aliens. And where are they getting that money? It's being reimbursed to them from the federal government. So when they say it's not in the curriculum to lead you to believe it's not happening, and when they say federal law says that you can't give health care to illegals to make you think it's not happening, it's still frickin' happening. And when people call Nick DeZoglio, when people call other members of the school committee, when people call members of the city council and say, hey, this is happening, they don't even look into it because their first knee-jerk reaction is, oh, that's crazy, it's not happening.
That would not have been my first knee-jerk reaction, and no one has called me with, yourself included. I have never received a document.
I will go back and look at some of the emails that I've sent you in the past.
I want to see. I'm telling you.
I'm really good at bad cop, though, right?
Yes, you are.
That's what I do.
Like that.
You're going to be on the ballot.
Happy we got to talk about me.
Well, you're here. You're here. So
am
this
here.
is what makes
Well,
it fun.
you've given opinions about it, and it's important, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to ask you about guns, though.
Kristen Maxwell says, true story. Ken Willett is also watching.
Ken Willett, you got copies of those documents. Can you bump up in the feed and tell her that it's actually true? Is there any way we can get the comments on the screen?
I'm gonna get the.
Can we get the comments on the screen? Is that possible?
Like, while it's on?
Yeah, while it's on. Is there a way to do that?
Try.
Can you put it on the cup?
That's a good idea.
My Stanley Cup. It's absolutely
Isn't it
100%
a Yeti?
true.
That's a Yeti.
It's a Yeti.
Yeah,
This is a Stanley.
I don't know what that means. I don't even know what any of that means. I just know that my roommate got a bunch of these and I used them. And sometimes he doesn't get them back.
Oh my gosh.
In fact, I left one at Salvatore's like 3 weeks ago and I keep forgetting to ask for it when I go back. You are on the ballot to be a city council at large. It's going to be your second term
Yep.
as city council at large. What are some of the things that you think you've accomplished in the first 2 years that should make voters want to put you back for 2 more years?
So it's tough to say things I've accomplished because some of the things that I felt most strongly about, I actually wasn't able to accomplish, right? Like the MBTA's Community Act. I wouldn't have voted it in as easily as the council let it
Council
go into
sold
play.
out. They sold out on that issue.
Listen, they did what they thought was right.
Explain to people what the MBTA
can we get
Communities
some
Act
context?
is.
I need like 2 hours. But the MBTA Communities Act it came in from Governor Healy's Affordable Housing Act. It was kind of hidden in there. What it is an overlay district zoning for municipalities who have a commuter rail. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Methuen doesn't have a commuter rail.
Right.
We don't, but we're an adjacent community. We got no different parameters for what we needed to do with this, but not for the fact of the deadline we had to make was just extended a little bit later. But what is this going to do to a vulnerable community like Methuen, right?
It's going to turn you into Lawrence.
Precisely. And then we have the ADUs. And listen, nothing against Lawrence, but I grew up in a little town called Methuen.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a hard
By the
pill for
time
me
the
to
state
swallow.
is done, North Andover and Methuen are going to look like Lawrence.
So I don't necessarily disagree, but it was too bad for me, and I was alone. If you want to watch that council meeting, I literally at one point just threw up my hands, and I'm like, listen, you guys want to do is going to be the ruination of the whole city. And I really believe that. And the worst part was we didn't even get a financial impact statement because everyone stood by the fact that it had no financial impact, which
It's a lie, total lie.
Well, so this is the truth. It is the truth in the present. There is no
Right.
once passing
Because it hasn't happened yet.
Right, but this is 5 years from now.
Right.
10, and what is that going to do for our first responders? If somebody wants to put 200 units over target, they can.
Right.
Right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You have to read this.
Mixed use zoning is it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so what the Democrats in the state are trying to do is they see that communities like North Andover, Methuen, once in a while go Republican. Once in a while they vote conservative. So they want to water down any conservative votes by putting more low-income housing and packing people in. They're going to vote
for their
Democrat.
future voters,
But
right?
it's not necessarily low income.
And
The
illegal aliens, by the way, which is the real issue.
So this is where it gets sticky. The design of the bill was to get young professionals, right? Like 2-bedroom facilities mostly, to have those people have accessible commute to Boston. So a town like Andover, brilliant. Guess what? They're going to put up like some sort of high rise, I think, by the commuter rail. They're going to get young professionals who are going to go in and out.
Yeah. Andover.
What's Methuen going to do? Right? North Andover, I think, was able to overlay it. We tried, but we're structured so differently.
But we've seen this movie before, and we know how this works. So this happened with the Essex projects, the Hancock projects, the stadium projects in Lawrence. They build these things for one purpose, and they say it's going to be condos and for young professionals. And then when it fails, because it's going to fail, because financially it's not sustainable, it becomes low-income housing. It becomes a high-rise slum. And now you've got a problem in Methuen that you can't take care of because you've got landlords that don't live here. Right.
Infrastructure.
Right.
The
Sewers, water,
the schools,
police.
the police, the fire. You know, it's going to be taxing on all of us.
What percentage of kids go
and
to the...
it's not affordable housing, by the way.
No, it's not.
Because rental...
Not now.
And let me...
But it's going to be low income before it's over. It's going to be state subsidized before it's over.
You say, why should people vote for me? And listen, it's public knowledge. Like, I own properties in Methuen. I'll tell you right now, I can make money off of what was just passed. And I still fought against it. Why? Because it was what was best for the city.
How many kids do you think who are not Methuen residents, who are from Lawrence or other communities, are going to the Methuen schools?
So that's sticky. I love that you keep bringing up the schools. When I was on the school committee, you didn't ask me this much about schools.
Well,
But
because
remember,
hold on. Here's why I ask about this.
Yeah.
Because the city councils in every community vote on the school budget, but never once ask a goddamn question. They sit there and they ask a question. They sit there and they pass the budgets and they make it seem, they ask all these abstract questions about.
But we don't have that power, Tom.
But you do. You can vote no, and you can make them go
no.
back and change what they're doing.
Exactly, but we can't say where to change it.
But you can. You can say, I'm not
We
voting
can
for this.
suggest it.
You can say, I'm not voting for this if you don't change that. And if you don't change that, I'm voting no. And if you have enough people on that city council to say no,
But the school
they have to say
committee
no.
should be be doing that.
But they're not doing their job.
They're not doing that.
No.
Now, they.
Hopefully with the new school committee coming in, they will. But, I mean, right now you've got at least 3 school board members that are puppets.
You asked me a question,
Yes.
and I'll tell you.
Okay.
I sat as the chair of the
Unlike you, I'll let
residency-
you answer the question.
Thanks. I sat as the chair of the residency subcommittee,
Mm-hmm.
okay, on the school committee. I was vice chair for 4 out of my 6 years, which I take as a compliment because you're elected by the body, right? But I was chair of the residence subcommittee. It was very important to me. And it was important to me because of a few different instances. Do I think there are people there are students who are not Methuen residents? 100%. But how do we get them? I'll tell you a true story. I was getting my nails done, and I won't say where. Lovely woman's talking to me about her 2 kids who have IEPs, and they're in the Methuen schools, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, and she says, oh, the services are so wonderful. I'm like, oh, that's great to hear. I'm on the school committee, right? And I said, where do you live in Methuen? Oh, no, I live in Lawrence, but right on the border. I'm like, oh, now she doesn't know who I am. And I said to her, well, oh, so how are they going? Oh, now this was our previous superintendent. I don't want to implicate anybody currently. She says, oh, the superintendent has been so good to us. After my divorce, my mother still lives in Methuen, so she told me I could keep her address and I could stay as long as I want. That was 6 years ago.
How often have I said this?
What?
How often have I said
You
this?
said this
I
a lot.
You now have a
called-
former school committee member
Yeah.
saying this on the record.
Oh, I told the administration about it. They couldn't get those 2 kids out because she proved residence at her grandmother's house. Now, I don't know what to do about that. What we worked on and what I worked on with the former Ed Lucier who used to work with us was a form to make it more stringent, right? The requirements for guardianship and that sort of stuff. The documents itself, I just don't think are strong enough.
But
to
let's
prove
talk about why
residency.
they're doing that, because, and I don't have the exact number, so I'm going to make up a number. I'm telling you at home, don't email me. I'm going to make up a number, but this is the formula that the kids use. A kid sitting in a regular ed classroom, we get reimbursed by the state, let's say $10,000 for that one kid. A kid on an IEP, we get $22,000 for that
Oh,
kid.
I can beat that. I got another story.
Oh,
so I
please
grew up.
do.
I grew up in Methuen, right?
Yep.
Like I said, so I have a lot of friends.
This is going to be a 5-hour show.
Who are also there, and they have their kids still in Methuen schools. So I get little feeders and stuff. A friend of mine calls me up and says, now this is pre-COVID because now we all get free lunches. But at the time, she says to me, I need to let you know, I think there's a problem. I said, what? And this was actually a previous food administrator too, because again, this is when I first got on the school board, years ago, pre-COVID. And she says to me, well, they told me my daughter qualifies for free lunches. And I said, did you apply for it? She said, absolutely not. And I know how much money this family makes. She goes, there's no way. I'm concerned. I called. I thought someone stole my daughter's Social Security. Like, am I being hacked? And the person answering the phone said, oh, no, that's fine. We put her into the system. She can get free lunch. Why?
Now tell people why. Right.
Why?
Funding.
Right. But if that's the way you want to see Methuen go,
But explain to Intern what
vote
you mean
me
by
out.
funding.
And
if for
you know
every
what?
kid that you have on a free lunch, you get more reimbursements from the state and the federal government. So it's a money making
Now
scheme.
it's
a
different,
money
right?
laundering scheme that the schools run.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah, because of grants
So my
and
sis-
stuff.
my-
If you have a certain number of students,
My
who
sister
fall
Kiana-
within-
My sister Kiana is not my real sister. She's my second cousin.
Yeah.
My aunt and uncle that raised me, that I call my parents, took her in and adopted her and raised her. My uncle was a police lieutenant, made a lot of money. My mother was also a school nurse at the Frost School, made a lot of money. But because she wasn't their real their biological child, the schools kept sending things home going, but you qualify. And my mother kept calling the school saying, listen, I'm a school nurse. I make plenty of money. I can pay for my own kids' food, but you qualify. They couldn't believe that you wouldn't take something for free when we're offering it to you for free. They push it on people who don't need the free food because it increases their funding. They get to hire more of their friends. It creates more power for them. It creates more political power for them.
But what
more,
does it do for
more
our
people
city?
paying into unions who give money to political candidates, and it's one big money laundering operation. And this is another thing I've been saying for years, and people don't believe me. And again, now we have somebody who's on the inside.
Yeah, and again, this was in the beginning. I don't want to implicate people who are sitting there currently because it was even a different food and services manager at the time.
But you know that it's still going on. We all know it's still going on. We all
listen,
know
this
that there
is
are
like-
people from
this is
Lawrence
like
going
a-
to Methuen schools.
But that's true everywhere,
Right.
right? It just so happens that we are, especially the CGS, like you said, right? Maybe the Marsh, Tenny, whatever, Timony, we are bordering two communities that our schools are looking very good to.
But it's one thing that it's just happening. It's another thing when people who work for the schools are encouraging it. It's another thing when people working in the schools are fostering it.
But listen,
That's
a
the
lot
problem.
of the staff is stifled too. You can't throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I always use that saying because, you know, you can't generalize, and you don't like generalizations anyway, and you're doing it because it's
I
not
love
all the
generalizations.
teachers. It's not all the
I love
staff.
general. You can't understand life if you don't generalize.
There is such a bureaucracy within the schools that those who are outspoken, like the morale and the favoritism, it's there. And it's hard for those few who are fighting and doing the right things and teaching the right things for like those bad apples.
So
I
who
said,
are we hold,
right?
who do we hold accountable? Every time I say it's the teachers, it's not the teachers. It's the administrators, it's not the administrators. It's the culture. It's just
No,
those are all abstract. Who do you blame?
I blame everybody.
Everybody's to blame.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because everybody
So when I
needs
blame
to
the
fight for a
teachers, you
common-
say no.
No,
And when
no,
I blame the
said
administrators,
it's
you say
not
no.
all.
But now
I
it's
said-
everybody.
No, I said
But
it's
we don't have to
not
say it's
all.
not all. Not all Nazis killed Jews, right?
I will
we don't
say-
have to say it's not all.
And I will say the school committee, and again,
Shame
not
on
feeling-
almost all of them.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Any solutions?
And most of them want higher office. So
Well,
be careful.
what's scary is that you've got at least one guy, right, with Dan Shabilia, who got elected going in, questioning the superintendent and calling her to task and being a watchdog. And he was good when he first got in.
Yeah, I watched your show with Kristen.
And then he got favors, and all of a sudden now he's the biggest lapdog for the superintendent, and he's running interference for her. Every time someone at the table brings up something that the superintendent did wrong, he bullies them, he distracts, he calls names. So he's now going to benefit by running for city council to do the same. He got up at a city council meeting and attacked Maggie. So somebody that doesn't like Maggie that works for the city hall came to me and said, you know what? I know you don't like Dan Shabilia, but he's going after Maggie and someone needs to because she's not really doing her job. And I said, you're going to go and you're going to support this guy after what he did with this current superintendent. He's only talking about Maggie because he wants the job. The minute he gets it, he's going to make a deal with Maggie. And Maggie's going to be his best friend. Because this is what these people do. You have to elect outsiders. You have to elect independent thinking people like you. We have to elect people like Alejandro Baez and Maria Figueroa, who have been on the inside, know where the bodies are buried, and now want to try and fix something.
But be careful, right? So many people use local office as a stepping stone.
They don't.
Well, we see that in the Central District.
be
Ella McLaren's
careful.
wonderful, but she's only running because she wants to be a senator.
Well, I
she's
don't know
telling
about
people
that,
that.
but-
She's knocking
Oh,
on doors
no
telling
way.
people
okay,
that.
I didn't know that.
She's
That's
telling
news.
people that.
But
So-
I'm saying across the board. So just be careful, right? Be careful at who's running because they want to do good.
And by the way,
listen,
I'm gonna support Ella McLaren. I'm gonna support her.
Okay.
I
met her. She was nice. I don't know anything about her.
She's
really.
a career Democrat, though, right?
She is running because she wants to be a senator. This is a stepping stone for her.
young, though, right?
However, I think she can do a good job, and she certainly could do a better job than Sharon Burchell, and she can certainly do a better job than the other person in that race who's not committed. So you've got Yolanda, Yolanda Santos, and you've got Ella McLaren. Those are the two people who should win. Those are the people that deserve to win.
All right. Well, we have some comments here.
Okay,
You
let's
guys
get some
mind
comments
going over them.
By the way, I love you for not answering that.
But
Brian Peter says, I agree with you 100%, Tom. They start off as luxury apartments, and a couple of years down the road, they turn into low-income housing. Same
Right.
thing is going to happen.
only one.
Down.
The only one.
Shame on
if
Nick
anybody-
DeZoglio again.
Shame on
Down
everybody
at-
else on the board.
Yeah, I know, but I don't
know
like
you
that.
love to take
Yeah, I do.
advantage of that one, but
The same thing's going to happen down on Salisbury Beach with that big development next to
yes.
the police
Big
station.
block.
yeah.
Big
Same
block.
thing happened on Revere Beach back in the 90s. So you are right. And then we had a question here from someone for Jana. Let me see if I find it.
We should have
right.
intern Cam for this.
What is her opinion of the Old Days Inn on Pelham Street in
Oh,
Methuen?
good question.
So they asked us that actually on the forum.
Oh, they did.
I think taking it by eminent domain is probably one of the smartest decisions we could do. It's going to cost money, but we're so limited on space in Methuen, and I've walked all the public safety buildings. they are all in disrepair. We need a new, and a lot of towns have it.
Isn't
like
that the city just inheriting a problem, though? Aren't you just buying a problem?
No. That
Those used to be shelters, right? Isn't that a
yeah,
shelter?
but
was a
it was a
hotel.
hotel before that, and the hotel wasn't bad.
Right.
You look back 20 years ago, that hotel was all redone.
Steve Bedore used to have fundraisers there.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So I know
Used to have
went,
party there.
it went downhill.
high
I
school.
had met the owner way back when on an unrelated matter. But I think they're just collecting their paycheck, right? They took advantage of a very bad situation, but where space is so limited in Methuen, I think this might prove to solve
What do they
a
wanna
big
do in
problem.
there? What do you
A
guys-
public safety building.
A public
So
safety building,
move
okay.
potentially, police, fire, DPW, and a lot of cities have that. They have a central location. It's pretty convenient.
It's right off of 93, right?
It's right off of 93.
But isn't that further away from East District?
So we would still have probably those. It remains to be seen. I don't have the power necessarily.
Shouldn't the police station be like near the loop, like right in the central part of the city?
They could still potentially run ambulances out of Central Fire, right? Because they can't get the engines into there.
Right.
And we keep having to spend ridiculous amounts of money for conforming engines just
As long
to
as
get
they're
them in.
near 213, right?
Right.
Shouldn't a police station
There's
be
no,
near that?
there's no central area of Methuen though. Remember, Methuen's a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
My parents, I wish they would move in with me because I built an in-law, but
I'll move
they-
in with you.
They
I'll
still,
move in. How much?
Because
for
your
rent?
first husband
available,
won't be your first
ADU.
husband very long.
I'm serious.
Yeah, I've only been with him 26 years. But anyway, my parents live on the West End, and it takes me 13 minutes to go from my door to theirs. That's a long time, you know?
So have them move in with you.
Steve-
Help you out with the
Trying.
kids.
Steve Gillis is flipping out over the Searles estate.
Yeah, rightfully so.
you
I'm
know,
kind of flipping out about it, too.
I'm so glad you said that because I had no idea when I asked the question. I'm like, should I even approach this? I think he's got some very, very valid concerns.
100%. And I've spoken with Steve. I think he does have valid concerns. Unfortunately, I think because it's coming from him, people aren't necessarily listening.
And that's just wrong.
That's so
That's
wrong.
just so wrong,
I
because
agree, and I'm not saying that
It
as
should
an
always
insult.
just be the merit of the
I'm
discussion.
not saying that, but it's same with Dan
You're right,
Chabelia,
you're
right?
right.
When people talk all the time, people stop listening
Right.
to what they're saying.
Listen, I'm going to
And
say
it's
Dan
not wrong.
Chabelia does make some good points, but it's hard to take him serious when you know he sold his vote. So it's like,
Yeah.
did he really mean what he's saying or
Online,
not?
I will not agree with that at all. I think his online personality is very different than how he is in person. And all my one-on-ones
I think
with
his
him,
online
he's okay,
personality
but-
shows you what kind of person he really is.
Maybe, but I don't even understand how he
He
reconciles
has a
the
fake
two of
account
them.
that he uses to attack other elected officials because he's too much of a coward to put his name on what he
I
says.
don't get it. I don't get that whole thing. I'm not really a social media buff. I'm trying, but it's hard. So
What's the
Searles-
name of it?
What?
Sorry. What's the name of his fake account?
Chuck Kirk. So to disrespect
Oh
Charlie
my
Kirk,
gosh.
so because he's a liberal, so to disrespect Charlie Kirk on top of it all, his fake account is Chuck Kirk.
How do you
Yeah.
know though? Do you know that's him?
Yes, I do.
Rita Christine.
Yeah, Rita Christine, right?
What's that?
That's Tina Conway.
Tina Conway's fake account.
Her fake account is Rita Christine.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I have a friend that
So
works in
I'm
IT
too
that I can
busy
get IP
working
addresses.
for the residents of Methuen to follow all this, just so that you know.
Right.
But the Searles, we have a long way to go. And I really bought into the idea. I feel a little duped, a little bit, because when Mayor Perry sat there and sold us the idea of building the Searles, right? I bought into it. And I bought into it with my wide eyes as a child who grew up here, listening to the stories of how the Tenney Castle burnt down and we didn't protect it, how the gatehouse was almost in disrepair, how we lost that monument. I remember my social studies teacher, Mr. Simonian, who was amazing, telling us about how they sold this amazing statue to like California or something for nothing in just a short-sighted plot to make money or whatever they did, right? So I really bought into it. And if you watch that meeting, I said that. I'm so happy we are protecting this. And I hadn't walked it at the time when we voted. I walked it since, but I hadn't walked it in years. It is so majestic. That property is amazing. The thought of someone coming in and actually modernizing it or bulldozing it or something makes my skin
You should
like,
turn it over to a nonprofit that's going to come in, turn it into a museum, and make money
why
for
wouldn't
the
we
city.
want the taxes? Right?
Well,
When
because
you
it's gonna
turn it
cost
over
you
to
more
another-
to fix
so
it
I
and-
disagree. Look at the Stevens estate. Now, I don't have the answer.
We
answer.
spent way too much money on
Why
the
I
Stevens estate.
said I feel duped is because now everyone's talking about how we obtained it to be a steward. I remember Mayor Perry, and it's public knowledge, sitting there talking about wedding venues, talking about different things, how he's going to get a committee together, and we're going to have all these ideas, and it's going to be like, I think he even said the Stevens Estate or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I understand it's a long road, but now everyone's like, no, we didn't do that. We were just supposed to be the steward. It was just to protect it. And I'm like, wow, was I at that meeting? Because I do consider myself a smart person, but
Randy
Randy
Randy Carter, who is a hero veteran who works for does a lot for homeless veterans, tried very hard to get housing for homeless veterans in Methuen. The mayor would not work with him. This mayor and the last mayor would not work with him. He ended up taking a job for an organization in Lowell called the Bridge Club, which is amazing, that helps addicted homeless veterans. They just opened a 15-unit apartment building free of charge for homeless veterans. Drake and Appliance came in and put in brand new stoves, brand new refrigerators for free for the veterans. Yeah. This is what he wanted to do in Methuen. Nobody would work with him. He's asking, what is Methuen going to do for veterans and for homeless veterans in Methuen? Because there are homeless veterans who are from Methuen, but they have to leave Methuen to get services.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I'd have to look into it. I really don't. So I went to a veteran breakfast at the senior center that they had, and the outreach in the city seems to be growing, partly I think because of the Clear Path for Veterans and the work they do. But I went there, and they were telling the story of how the first breakfast, let's say, they had 8 people show up. And then it went to like 40. And then they gave some astronomical number. There are so many retired veterans in Methuen. I had no idea. It's amazing. And it's something to be proud of. Now, I don't know the number of those that are homeless, but I agree with you. If we can't do something for them, then we need some sort of collaboration from our city to help whoever's helping them with their efforts. I just, honestly, no one's ever reached out to me about that specifically.
I know it's a big issue for Wanda Santos, so she met with Randy, and you should meet with Randy too. You know, Randy applied to be the VSO, and because of politics, and I'm going to say, sadly, it's my fault, because he's a friend of mine.
Yeah, but that shouldn't have anything to do with it.
But it did. There were 3 councilors that, because he was a friend of mine, thought somehow I was trying to rig the system or something. And so they passed over him because of that. He would have been a great VSO. And I'm not saying anything about Paul Jensen. I know he does a decent job. But he's not doing enough of a decent job. We need more people in there. You need 3 people in that office to handle the veterans. So Randy is and I'm only using him as an example. Randy's a Desert Storm veteran. Yeah. They're coming of age, believe it or not. They're coming of age.
That's crazy.
And it is crazy because, in our lifetime, right? Yeah. But he's a Desert Storm veteran. He served as an Air Force. He served the Air Force 2 terms, one tour in as Army, and now, like me, we're approaching 60, and all of those veterans are coming of age, and there's nothing for them. And when people reach out to the city of Methuen, they get told, well, go talk to Clear Path, go talk to Veterans Northeast Outreach, go talk to the Bridge Club in Lowell, go talk. But there's nothing in Methuen by the city of Methuen for these veterans. And people at election time talk a good game about how much they care about the poor and the downtrodden and the veterans, and then they get into office, they don't do shit for them.
So that's interesting, though, right? Because say we did get the days in, and it turned into like a public safety building with a huge space. Maybe that's something they look into, right? Housing it there, especially if somebody is going there for, another reason or something. I don't know, but I don't know. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Anything else? So if you get elected, what are your number one priorities going to be?
Number one priorities. I mean, it's funny. I had my whole list, and I was looking back as you go through like the campaign materials and stuff. There were so many things I wanted to focus on my first run, and we get derailed. It's hard with the passing of the mayor, the MBTA's Act, the SERLs, the budget. It's like every year there's this new crisis that comes up. I will focus on what Methuen needs me to focus on at present, whatever is the most urgent. I do think that I add, a perspective that's needed on that council, especially since I feel alone most of the time. But that's okay. That's okay. And it's funny. I said it at the forum, and I'll say it here. I think 2 things that really help with me being a counselor is, 1, I feel very accessible to the community. I try to help people behind the scenes. I don't do a lot on the council floor. If someone calls me with a problem, I try to get rid of it before it has to go that far, right? I think the residents appreciate it, but I've been told that I should make it more public because I don't do a lot of grandstanding. And apparently you have to in this city.
Well, it's unfortunate because other people set the bar, right? People who grandstand set the bar. And then people watch that and they go, oh, well, how come we don't hear from so-and-so that much?
Yeah.
And maybe so-and-so is actually just doing their job, not grandstanding.
Yeah.
And so they do kind of set the bar. But I am thrilled that you're on the city council. I'm thrilled that when you termed out as a school committee member that you ran for council. I'm thrilled that you're running again. I think that you do bring a lot to the table. We are going to have a debate. We've just kind of worked it out with our executive producer, Nick Maxwell.
I like the titles.
To have, we just make up the titles. Like people are so impressed with titles, you just make it up, and they go, oh, that's really important. We're looking at 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, the 28th. Do you have a council meeting that night, the last Tuesday of the month?
When
I
is
have
your
to look.
event?
Your
The
event is next week.
22nd.
The 22nd.
The 22nd is the Irish Cottage.
That's a
6 to
Wednesday
8.
night.
Yummy.
It's a Wednesday night.
The night of TMF. Everybody's doing their thing on TMF. Like,
Yeah, so I do it because Wednesday night is the only night that my kids don't have like crazy activities. But I don't know why everybody else did it on a Wednesday.
I don't know, but I know Yanilda Santos is having her fundraiser tonight. And I can't remember off the top of my head where that's going to be. Please go on her website or go on her Facebook page and see where it is. Also, Giovanni Rodriguez. I apologize, Giovanni. He's having his fundraiser tonight. I was really looking forward. I even had my suit pressed to go to Giovanni's tonight. To go to Giovanni's tonight and stand up and publicly endorse him. Now, I don't think he should be the next council president. I have some very strong disagreements with him on issues, but I think he's a good kid. I think he's a moral person. I think he tries to do the right thing, even when he kind of doesn't. But I think he's trying to do the right thing. I think he believes what he's doing is the right thing.
Is that who the laborers said they wanted as chair?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
Mike Gagliardi wants to be chair again, and I
Yeah.
think
Would it be
really-
fair for me to say he's also very good looking?
He's extremely good.
Oh,
looking.
I don't know what he looks like.
Ooh, let me show you a picture.
That's it. He has a brain, you know.
Oh,
you know, he has a
sorry.
brain. He has a brain, you know.
Did you see his arms when he was here? He's the gym.
He's buff.
Like, what?
Whatever you say, Giovanni.
Right? Very good looking guy. And by the way, I say this all the time. There's a 5 to 7% dummy vote in every election. That's what we call it in the media. We call it
I'm gonna miss those because I'm number 5.
Right?
It's
no, but
usually 1, 2, 3 gets the dummy vote.
no, but so it depends. So every person is different. So say somebody goes in to vote for mayor, and they really like DJ, so they vote for mayor, right? And they don't care who's down ballot, but they're going to vote down ballot. So they look down and they go, oh, well, JANA ZANNI PESCE, that street, you know, they have your address on the ballot. That street's right next to mine. She's one of my neighbors. I'll vote for her. Or, oh, that person's got a Dominican name, and I'm Dominican, so I'm going to vote for him. That person's got an Irish name, and I'm Irish, so I'll vote for them. So they're not voting for you because they know you, or they care about you, or they care about your positions.
Yeah.
They vote for you for some external reason, and that's 5 to 7% of every vote in every election.
I believe that. Methuen, it might
And
be
when you're
higher.
good looking, when you're Stephanie Infante, when you're JANA ZANNI PESCE, when you're Giovanni Rodriguez, Quinn Gunnell, very good looking guy,
And
right?
tall.
Gregory Del Rosario,
Another good-looking
very
guy.
good looking guy. When you're a very good looking person, you attract people's eyeballs longer. They've done psychological studies on
They
this.
don't put the pictures on the ballot, though.
Right?
They should.
But
I
they
know.
but
Vote on it.
But people do see the pictures on the political signs.
Yeah.
And they see them in the political ads, and they see them on Facebook.
More so now.
Right,
I
right.
feel like nobody ever did that.
Right. You're right.
The
You're
only
right.
thing I would
in the 80s and
caution-
90s, you never saw that.
The one thing I would caution, though, some of the candidates, it's so funny. At night and stuff, sometimes I see just the picture, and I'm like, what are they running for? I'm like,
It
I don't know
doesn't say.
who designed that,
Right.
but
Yep. So I met Ann Bresley. I think her name is Bresley. She's running for lieutenant governor next year. She's a Republican.
Yes.
Her guy called me and said, you know, she been reading your paper online. She's very intrigued. She wants to sit down with you and talk. I looked at her picture, and my first thought was, now, you know me, right? I like thick
I gotta see
Latina
what she
women.
looks like.
That's right. But she was totally not what you would think that I would find attractive.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a video, and when she spoke, her personality made her more attractive.
smart women are sexy.
And I thought, you know what? This is a woman I want to meet, right? Because this is someone that, because she automatically starts with that 5 to 7% dummy vote, because she's attractive looking, she speaks very well.
She's a select woman. Wayland.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Wayland? Yep.
Yep.
She's also Honduran and a
Yep.
Jew. So
Oh,
when we
wow.
had lunch,
Adopted.
We talked.
Oh, okay.
We talked for an hour about Judaism, which I never get to talk about with people in politics because most people aren't Jews, right? Or they don't understand what Judaism is. So we had very long it was kind of like Idelda Santos when we had lunch at Salvatore's. She's a born again, and I was raised Catholic, so we started talking about Judaism and the difference between Catholicism and Judaism, the difference between Christians and Catholics,
Yeah.
and it was very interesting to hear her take. Not anything that you would think from what you hear in the media. She's not a hater, but she also, has some very, very strict, very conservative views for a woman who's a liberal Latina, right? So it was an interesting cross section.
Why do we have to put ourselves into a box, though? It's,
Well, we
it's
have
really
to.
funny. I'm unenrolled for a reason.
Right, I am too.
I vote. Well, I wouldn't say you actually.
I campaigned for Katie Ives. She's
Yeah,
so
fair enough.
She's so far left. She thinks Elizabeth Warren's too conservative.
But literally, I cannot put myself into either box, which is why I am where I am. Right? I
right.
vote for the person. Citywide, it's nonpartisan. We're not.
I crossed the aisle a lot.
Yeah.
I campaigned for Deb Goldberg. I campaigned before Diana Zoglio, I campaigned for Suzanne Bump.
Yeah.
I actually helped run her campaign in the Merrimack Valley, and my conservative Republican friends.
Who, Suzanne or Diane?
Suzanne went ballistic. You're holding, she's for abortion on demand up until third grade. You know that she's against the death penalty for a serial killer. And I'm like, but she's running for auditor. None of that matters.
Yeah.
Right? So you can get bogged down in the ideology. I am a right wing. You can't find very many people more right wing than I am. I think Donald Trump is too liberal. I think the Speaker of the House is too liberal.
I don't even know what to say.
I am very far right on my beliefs on issues. However,
Clearly.
I'm also practical. And I realized that when Katie Ives ran as a far left-wing lunatic left-winger against Sean Tuohy, who let's face it is a political crook, I would go with a liberal Democrat, honest liberal Democrat 7 days a week over a Republican that I think doesn't mean it. And so I called her and I worked on her campaign. I sat down with Suzanne Bump at a chamber event in Lowell one day about 12 years ago. She walked in late. There was only one seat in the entire place. It was next to me. So she came in and she sat down, and she thought because
She's like, yes.
She thought because this was a Democrat primary forum that I was a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
So she's making these little comments and she's saying things about conservatives and stuff, and I'm just kind of absorbing it, and I'm laughing because at some point I'm going to tell her she's going to feel bad, right? And so we're kind of chatting about things, and while the program's going on, and she says to me, I will say one thing, and this is, by the way, why I fell in love with her, because she had no idea who I was. She said, the one thing that I really think that the Republicans and the conservatives are right about, she said, there's a lot of fraud in welfare. And the difference between me and the Republicans is they say that there's fraud in welfare because they want to spend less money on welfare. I say there's fraud in welfare because I want more of that money to go to people who deserve it. And if only those conservatives on the right would come to the middle with me, we could work together to reform the welfare system so that we would be spending less money and more people would be getting it to deserve it. And I said, congratulations, I'm Tom Duggan. I'm a right-wing lunatic. I have a show on WCAP. Could you please come on and be my guest? And that's how we fell in love with each other. I managed her campaign in the Merrimack Valley. I interviewed her on my radio show a number of times, on my TV show a number of times when I had one. I am as far right as you can get on issues, but I'm not going to die on an issue.
Yeah.
I'm pro-life. I don't even make exceptions for rape and incest, but I will support someone that's pro-choice if they're running for treasurer.
I don't think it should be
right?
a political issue. So that whole
If
thing.
you're running for city council, it doesn't matter. If you're running for treasurer, it doesn't matter. If you're running for auditor, it doesn't matter. So there are people who will not vote for you for school committee if you are not pro-life. On the far right. On the far left, they will not vote for you for school committee if they think that you're pro-life. And
But
to
you know
me,
what,
that's
Tom?
what's wrong with the country. That's what's wrong with the country.
It goes back to the anger. I told you about the anger.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's just really angry, and our
Frustrated.
whole country is just so polarized. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. It's the media.
Listen,
The media
it's
pushes
a
us.
whole bunch of things.
Well, it's the
but
media, it's
just too
academia,
bad.
it's the schools,
It's too bad.
Everything's expensive. I'm mad when I go food shopping.
When you
I'm
have
a happy person.
when you have
so I try
people-
not to be angry.
You're well off.
when you have people in
not.
government,
Not well
I'm
off,
okay.
but like you're okay.
when you have people in
I
government
work
I'm
a
like-
lot.
who don't realize that their job is to advocate for the American citizens and they're advocating for citizens of other countries, or they're advocating for the criminals instead of the victims.
That goes back to the veterans, right?
Right,
Like,
100%.
I mean, come on. Let's take
100%.
care of the people who risk their lives for our
I
country.
agree. All right, do you have any last minute questions? Because we're way over on time.
No, I just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching and for sharing and liking. Alejandro Baez says hi.
Oh, Alejandro.
Hi, Alejandro.
We just talked about him earlier.
Cirillo, Cirillo.
Hi, Frank.
Cerrillo?
Cirillo.
Sarillo.
Like me, Castillo.
Castillo.
Is
He was
Cirillo.
cracking me up on the Methuen Community Studios forum.
Next week I got to bring in a video. Did you hear what I did to Pavel Payano at
No,
Patricia
what?
Valley's?
What did
No.
you do?
What did you do? I was there.
What did you
How'd
do?
I miss it?
This is the funniest video you're ever going to see in your life.
In your life.
In your life.
In your life.
Better than Dave Chappelle? Rick James?
Way better.
Rick James?
Way better. So we're sitting at the Muddy Waters, and then we have to go because we're way over. But sitting at Muddy Waters, Patricia Valley had her fundraiser. I didn't get to go to many fundraisers this year, but I did go to hers.
Really good potato skins.
So the food there, by the way, is amazing.
Yeah,
The
it was
people
really
who run it
good.
are really good. They also donate a lot to charity. So I don't know what their names are, but they're really nice people at Muddy Waters. And I'm sitting there, and so someone got up and talked about, a constituent got up and talked about how Patricia helped them with a problem. And, it's very hard to get an elected official to even take your call, but this woman
Yeah.
took my
Oh,
call
no,
to
she
the problem,
works.
right?
She works.
So then somebody introduced Pavel Payano. Now, you know how politicians sometimes don't really understand their audience? You know, sometimes
Can't read the room.
politicians, can't read the room.
No, Pavel's good.
So Pavel's normally very good. He's a very dynamic speaker, extremely good-looking guy, a really decent person. You don't think he's good-looking? I think he's good-looking.
Oh, sorry.
A really good-looking guy. But what he didn't understand, so here's what he did. And I've got the video to prove it. He got up and he started calling her Valle, Councilor Valle,
Why Valle?
Valle?
instead of Valley, because he's playing the Dominican role, right? So he says.
But her husband's not
So
Dominican.
he gets up and he says, I've gotten phone calls from Councilor Valle, and Councilor Valle
I
cares
didn't
very
hear
much.
that. I
And
never even
You're
heard
lying
that.
right now.
I've got it all on video.
We're fact checking after this.
So I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, I couldn't go live because I'm in Facebook jail, so I'm recording it to post up later on. And on his 7th Valle, I'm thinking, people who are in the West End who watch meetings, who know her name is Valley, are going to watch this and not know who he's talking about.
Maybe he did it on purpose.
So I'm waiting for him to say her name right just once, so that so I could post online, this is Patricia Valley, whatever. But he didn't. So he gets to the end of his speech, and he said Valle for like the 14th time. And I yelled, and I didn't realize I was yelling it as loud as I did, but I yelled, "What the hell is a Valle? Her name is Valley." And if you could see the searing laser beams come out of his eyes at me, and his face dropped. I don't think he realized that it was me that said it. When he was done,
He does now.
when he was done, he came walking by me and he went, I still like you anyway. But he said it while he's clenching his teeth, and he just really wanted to punch me in the face. And it is, and so I didn't realize how funny it was. So I got home and I watched the video and I laughed my ass off. And this is just, it's one of those things where like everyone makes mistakes, right? Yeah. And when you speak in public a lot, sometimes you just forget who your audience is.
You might have just forgot for a second, too. I mean, he works long hours.
He's campaigning for, yes, she's Latina, but her name is Valley, and she's running in the West End, which is mostly white, and the voters know her as Valley. Yeah. So if I posted, and I wasn't doing it to shame him.
Her husband's a really
I was
nice guy,
really
too.
worried that I'm going to post this video, and people are going to hear this,
and they're
not
going to
know who he's talking about.
Yeah.
And so I was just trying to get him to say it the right way once, but instead, after I yelled this out and he looked at me funny, he then finished 5 more minutes of his speech and never once said her name again. And I was just hoping, just please say it just the right way once. But it is absolutely hysterical because I didn't realize it was as funny as it was in the room.
I was reading it in Spanish.
Yeah, Valle is going. So then I posted, he endorsed somebody, and I posted Paye Payeo has endorsed. Lawrence Mayor Brian DePino is endorsed today by Paye Payeo.
Oh my God.
And he actually spit his coffee out. He texted me and said, I actually spit my coffee out when I read that. That was pretty funny.
Oh my
So he took it the right way, but I'm going to bring the video in next week because it really
have
is.
to watch it.
I don't do it justice. Like, the awkwardness when I yelled that, like the whole room just went.
Who the heck is Valle?
Right.
I love the way we have no time for me. It's time to go, and then he tells his story. You got plenty of time.
Let her
now.
finish. Let her give a statement. Go ahead.
Well, the guest always gets the
Yeah.
to make
I'm
the
gonna
final
mute
pitch.
his microphone. How about that? Go ahead.
I don't need a statement. I will just say, since I will correctly pronunciate my name, JANA ZANNI PESCE, running for re-election of Councilor at Large. Number 5 on the ballot. November 4th is the election. I hope I've earned your vote. If I haven't, go to pesceforprogress.com, learn more about me, or call me. Apparently my number's everywhere.
Nice.
Can I ask you one of my pet peeves, and I ask people this before the election all the time. They always say yes, and they never do it. Can I ask you to please post the results on election night? As somebody who has to cover multiple races in multiple communities, it's very frustrating for me at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday night on an election to still be trying to chase people, because every elected official turns their phone off when the election's over because everyone on the planet's trying to reach them, right? And I go on people's Facebook pages who have used Facebook through the entire campaign to get your vote. And then the minute the election's over, you go to all their pages, and nothing that says, hey, thank you to my supporters.
No, I always say thank you, but
I mean, like, we won, thank you, or we lost, thank you.
But I will absolutely do that.
The next day, but not that night.
No, always. I have it, like, ready to go.
Yeah, but there's never any.
But I don't usually
I have to
post
call
the
other
results.
people, right?
I really don't.
We want to know what happened. How do we find out? In the old days, you could go on Channel 7, they tell you. Now they don't tell you.
The old
right?
days was better when you had to add it up.
Right.
And they were calling, what's the number from this precinct?
Right.
And they're all adding it
but
up.
I'm one guy trying to cover all of Lawrence, Haverhill,
Yeah, no,
and
I
so
get
on.
it. I get
so
it.
I'm looking for, all the races that I can get. And some people will send me, like, their precinct, but that doesn't tell me the final.
Okay, so if I get the final.
Right, just want the finals.
I'll
Just post it when you're
text it
done.
to you.
Because sometimes someone will give me the number. I'll post it, and it will be wrong. If I can go to your page, see what you have, compare it to what they gave me, and go, okay, now I know this is right.
As long as it's the official whatever.
Well, nothing's ever official till 3 days later.
It's so quick now, though.
Right.
It's so
Unofficial.
quick now.
Right.
And how many close calls have we? And listen, this may help me or hurt me, but I will say this. Everybody always says, I want one of your 3 votes, or I want one of your 6 votes, or I want one of your whatever votes, right? I will say, if you really like a candidate,
just vote for them.
the bullet vote, people don't understand what that means.
It's like giving them 3 votes.
It's like giving them 3 votes. Yep, if you only vote for your candidate. But a lot of people feel as though, see, you're looking at me confused because
Right.
you probably used the other 2 votes. People think they're wasting their other 2 votes. So they will go in there, they'll vote for their candidate. And they'll just say, oh, and this person lives near me, and then that person, right, the same way you
So
said.
if someone goes in and they vote for Jana, and they don't know anybody else, but they check all the 2 other names, what if one of those 2 other people beat Jana by 1
you
vote?
haven't helped
You're the
me.
vote that put them over the top over her.
Does that
You vote for
bullet
3.
thing work
So,
in Lawrence too?
Of course,
Yes.
it votes
Okay.
everywhere.
In a vote for 3
time-
or a vote for 6, if you just vote for one person, it's like giving them 3 or 6
The
votes.
only time it doesn't work is if someone in Methuen is voting for someone in my race that's not me, then they should absolutely vote for me as one of their secondary.
Yeah, if you're voting for someone else, give her a vote. But if you're just voting for, but if you like her, don't vote for the other candidates.
Right? You got that?
Oh, boy. I hope you know DeSantos. I'm really looking forward to you and DeSantos sitting next to each other come January.
Oh, she'd be fun.
That's
going to
make me very, very happy,
Yeah.
man. We'll get both of you on the show, and that'll be great. Let's thank all of our sponsors. If I
we'll
could
see how
find
this
my-
goes.
Right.
We had a hard time. We had a hard time in the
It's a
beginning.
4-hour show. I'm going to take a loan just to pay for the studio time now.
Oh, my gosh.
Let me start reading, then you can stop playing Mel, because we have way more than we. Wait, where's my my candidates are not on the same page as this one. God damn it.
I mean, I could probably. Right?
You know them already, right? I know them too.
How do people get in touch with you? How do they help you with your campaign?
I already said it, but you can get in touch with me by my number, 978-852-7255, or go for pesceforprogress.com. You can request a yard sign. You can text me for a yard sign, too. Get involved with the campaign, help volunteer, hold signs, donate. Come to my event, October 22nd, 6 to 8 at the Irish Cottage. Or call me if you just want to chat, because this looks like so much fun.
Right.
That Tom's having.
I was hoping to get the other 2 fundraisers tonight. I can't, because I'm going to the Isaiah 58 fundraiser in Atkinson, New Hampshire, to help homeless people in New Hampshire. And the fun part about that, next year you've got to come. You know who sits at my table every year? Jean Shaheen. She comes over and she says, "Oh, my Republican friend," and then we sit there and we throw jabs at each other all night. But fun though. It's not like
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
to-
yeah.
you
But
have a
that's how
lot
it should
to
be.
give today.
Yeah, we have a
That's
lot
how
to
it
give
should
because
be.
she shut down the government, so we're going to have fun tonight. Let's thank our sponsors, City Council candidate, Methuen City Council candidate. She's right here, the sexiest woman alive. JANA ZANNI PESCE. Ryan DeZoglio, who's also running at large. Wanda Santos, who's running at large. And we're going to get the other candidates in. John Drew, who's also running at large. Luis Robles,
who's running for Lawrence
School Committee. Frank Cirillo, or Frank Cirillo. Cirillo, who's running for City Council at large. My friend the midget, Mike Gagliardi from Labor's Union,
Poor
Local
Mike.
175. What happened?
Tough crowd.
All right, I'm gonna start playing now.
Okay.
Right?
Century 21 McLennan Real Estate, the ZANNI PESCE Law Office. I got a lot of money out of her today. ZANNI PESCE Law Office in Methuen, Marsan and Son Construction, EIS Investigation and Gun Training, Tomo and Shaken Seafood. Can all of us go to Tomo this weekend? Can you go to Tomo this weekend?
Okay.
Maybe I
Saturday
got to
night?
I have a swim meet.
It's a long weekend.
Okay, all right, okay.
I gotta see.
Where are we? It's Shaken Seafood, Clear Path for Veterans New England, AFC Urgent Care,
Just tired.
Pleasant Valley, because this list is so long, I'm going to catch my breath. Pleasant Valley, she thought I was panting at her, right?
Yeah.
No, after
Pleasant
Franco
Valley-
was having a heart attack, I thought maybe.
Pleasant Valley Landscaping Contractors, Prime Insurance, the Doug Mercurio Law Office. We got to get him in here too. W3ON 4-Star Lighting, a free shout out to them. Also, free shout out to JG's Ice Cream and Lambert and Randone Law Office, as well as Total Mortgage, our buddy Marie Thibodeau, who I think I'm having lunch with over the weekend.
Nice.
Sounds like Melvin Taylor says you got to go home, so go home already.